Home ain't ever what you wanted it to be. So you packed your things and you left. Took a train, left somewhere out west, and you found what looks like hope. You take that little bit of change you got in your pocket and you build a ranch, maybe a nice little family. But unfortunately, there's never hope. Welcome to Crystal Grit. Mind your pistols now.
Hello, everybody. Hello. It is me, Cowboy God.
Nope.
no, okay. That's a strike. Anyway, hello, everybody. We're back after a week off due to some health complications. With the third episode of Whispers in the Dust. I hope you all have been well. I think we have been. Chris, say something.
Hi, everybody.
He's sick still. But you
I
know
am
he's
sick.
he's an absolute fucking trooper, so we're playing anyway. But we're gonna try to get quickly into this. Boom! The exclamation mark charity. We are still trying to raise money for Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, or Hospital of Atlanta. Apparently, I've gotten it wrong so many times. I don't know what's right anymore. It's to help kids who are ill. So do the lawful kind thing. Open your heart wallets. Still disturbing. Give money. Nice. And we'll have a birthday next week. I'll let you wonder who that is until then, because technically it's tomorrow, so they get nothing until it's passed. That's how it works around here. Wild West is cruel, and so am I. Aside from that, anybody else have anything fun and or exciting to say? No.
I'm
Yes,
wearing
no?
a dress.
Not at the moment.
He's wearing a dress.
I'm very
No?
excited about it.
Clarification for Twitch, he is in fact wearing a dress.
I am wearing
Yeah,
a
if
dress.
he leans in too close, he is clothed from the waist up.
It's not
It's
that
just
type
hard
of
to
stream.
tell
It's not
when
that
he
type
does
of stream.
this. Wonderful. Well, in that case, if we have nothing else fun and or exciting to say, because the two they're not mutually exclusive, since we were gone for a week, brief recap. Our folks are dastardly ne'er-do-wells. I do not feel like I can call them heroes. Our party found themselves our posse. Oh, there you go. They're my gunslingers on Discord, so pew pew. Even though some don't really use guns, whatever. But the folks, they found themselves in Crystal Grit for various and sundry reasons. Some live there already, some were just passing through, some looking for things, some looking for people. Who knows? That's mysteries only they are aware of. Like in the mustached world, correct? Good guy. But despite whatever their individual goals were, ultimately they got caught up in a shootout with ghost cowboys and one live cowboy outside of the Sunrise Saloon, which is owned by Bell. Emerging victorious, taking the only prisoner that didn't just disintegrate upon being struck down. They tried to ask him a couple questions as well as patch themselves up before the two deputies and the employee of the mayor of Crystal Grit, one Desmond Sinclair, came to collect this individual. Discussing amongst themselves a little bit more and doing a bit of looking around, making sure no other hostilities were about to occur. Everybody took a nap because they really needed it, because there were holes in people and they weren't happy. And some were made secure in the fact that they would be spoken to. One Clyde Kelly, or Mr. King, as he is known here within Crystal Grit. Sleeping off their injuries the next morning, they did indeed go and meet with the mayor, coming in upon him while he was wrapping up an interrogation with not only the gentleman who the party did not murder the night before, but also it looked like an insider, a citizen from Crystal Grit who had been feeding knowledge to this gentleman and his allies, asking his last couple of questions and promptly executing the young man. The mayor had a proposition for the party.
I don't know about prompt.
It was pretty prompt. He just kind of, bam, Anyway, not the point. He had a proposition for the party, and that was to pursue the living gentleman's allies who had apparently made their way to Picton with all of the valuables from Desmond Sinclair's caravan that they had robbed and killed most of the people from, and also seemed to have kidnapped those they did not murder. The party, deciding that this was agreeable, as one of the kidnapped was a friend of Sarah Bell's, as well as a former employee of Miss Bell. A lot of Bell going on in here. Some members of this posse contained the murderers of Mr. King's family. And, well, it's just so damn interesting for the rest. Being offered up the black market goods that reside within the general store. The party then made their way back to the Sunrise Saloon, where they have taken their rest for the moment in noon-ish of a day of the week. Don't worry about it. Not important. And that's where we'll rejoin everybody. Everybody has now made their way back. Belle kind of making her way back last, as you had stopped by the general store to question Mr. Caldwell, to ask if there was a preferred time for you all to come by, if you need to be more discreet. But just giving him that heads up, saying you would come by a little afternoon, maybe around 3. You have now returned, ladies and gentlemen. I turn it over to you. What all are y'all doing there at the Sunrise?
Miss Bell, is there any more information that we needed? Did you get anything important there?
Not so. I did ascertain that we are expected around 3. So as a group, I think, and he said we are welcome to come in, and we will be able to choose what we like from those particular wares that he is storing for us. So perhaps on our way out of town.
Before we depart,
Oh, yes, darling.
I wanted to ask, do you have any drugs that invoke a sense of joy or pleasure? Maybe euphoria?
My dear, I don't know about pleasure or euphoria. Perhaps energy. We do have some things like that behind the bar that we keep for special guests.
No, not exactly what I'm looking for. Thank you, though.
Okay. Well, if you take a curiosity, you feel free to go speak to Mr. Billy, and he can tell you precisely what he's got. But we keep it simple here at the Sunrise. It's either things that kind of help you relax or things that kind of help you keep going, and like for those folks that like to gamble through the night, you know.
Of course.
She
So
says, no opium here.
Not here. My thoughts are perhaps we should enjoin Mr. Pax to cook us a meal, since we don't know exactly where we will be stopping or when we will eat again next, and have a chance to sit down as a group and kind of get to know each other a little bit better. What do y'all think?
I think that is a fine idea, Miss Bell.
I will go speak to Pax. So do you mind letting everyone else in our group know that we will be dining here in about 45 minutes, I would expect. I'll go. Chuck Pax.
Yeah, look it up. Oh, yes,
buddy.
ma'am. Absolutely. I got a little bit of something here, a little bit of something there.
DM, just a quick context interjection. It's been 2 weeks.
Denied.
This is taking place. Damn. Okay, never mind.
Surely, yes, 2 weeks.
You just threw me off by repeating 2 weeks to me. We had cut off like right after. I have mind blanked. Callie and I had our conversation with the attempted eavesdropping from the balcony, correct? Mm-hmm. This is like right after that? Okay.
This is, yeah, right in that same general ballpark.
Mm-hmm. And then, DM, I don't know that it needs to be played out, totally your call, but Belle is going to designate 2 of the doves to act in her stead, so she'll gather Let's see. I think Vera and Lissa are going to be the two.
Okay, that's what I was about to say. I was like, for my own curiosity.
Yeah, I was looking at them, and I think it's going to be Vera and Lissa.
Vera and Lissa,
To run the floor in her stead.
Okay.
And then of course, Billy, doing the oversight like Billy does. That leaves nobody at the door, but
you suspect that y'all probably aren't going to be back up to full booming business, at least for a few days, because there are still repairs being done. People are still a little shaken from. I mean, like, this is a dangerous place out here, but it's not every night that your house just gets lit the fuck up.
Absolutely. And I don't think typically it's not an issue. Most people they leave when they're kicked out and they turn over their weapons, so it should be fairly low key.
You have a feeling that in your absence that the sunrise will be looked after. You do not think that it would be left unattended.
Yeah. So I'll gather Billy and Vera and Lissa in the office, and then Billy, that's quick and easy, and then kind of give Vera and Lissa a pep talk and give them some pointers on how to keep everybody else spirits up.
I just double check. Okay. You definitely, Ella, a little offended that she did not get chosen, but nobody actually upset. She's like, oh, little hurt. Oh, so sad. Len, totally happy, but easily done.
Absolutely. Belle will do that. Darling, you're so busy. I didn't want to ask you to take on any extra tasks, my love. I do depend on you to help keep the floor quiet, as lively as possible in these trying times.
Tosses her hair a little bit, like,
fluff, 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 pet, pet, pet.
Yeah. Her ego properly massaged.
Absolutely. And I'll probably put a little bug, take Jack to the side a little bit and ask him to make sure that Ella's, feeling appreciated, and to kind of keep her spirits up, because they're kind of buddies.
Oh, don't worry, Miss Belle.
Thank you, darling.
So,
Mr. King, a moment. And she'll walk over and just place her arm on your shoulder and try to walk you over into a corner if possible.
He would be guided. He would not gonna say no, but let's keep our hands to ourselves, sort of vibe to him.
Of course. What occurred between us and the gentleman? I would prefer for the moment to remain between us. People don't often appreciate my Lord's blessings at times. They can be let's say judgmental. Though if you are interested in understanding what occurred, of course I would be willing to talk to you about that. But the things that man did offend my God, and he has received a just punishment for the things he's done.
And all the eloquence that Clyde exudes, he simply responds, "I can keep my mouth shut."
And that is much appreciated. Of course, it will probably come up while we travel, but I would prefer the questions come as they come.
I think we have a fucking in opposite scene where Alistair's sitting at the table with everybody else. Now it's best we just open up about everything so we're everything's on the level with each other. And we all know what to be expecting on the road. So
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Hello, stop by Callie. Callie, my love, how are you feeling this morning?
Miss Bell, I'm doing just fine.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, I don't know if you have realized, but I did ask Billy, Vera, and Lissa to be in charge of things while we're gone, kind of, take the lead. If you wouldn't mind letting Jack know how the check-in system works so we can kind of spread the tasks. And then I think Pax is just about ready for us all to eat. So do you mind gathering everybody up so we can all eat together, darling?
Of course, Miss Bell. And I wander over to everybody and just straight up, like, if I have to herd everybody, I will herd them all into. I'm assuming we have like a party room, for lack of a better term.
Y'all tell me, this is y'all saloon.
Party room?
Yeah.
Yeah, there would be like a private meeting room, and it's not huge, right? Because it's not meant for large groups, but
Yeah,
we would fit.
It's like an intimate, like folks that are high profile.
I imagine there are lots of intimate rooms in this establishment.
Heyo.
There are quite a few, but this was for when some of the mayor's special guests come and they want to drink in private. Yeah, absolutely, Callie, spot on.
Okay, 100%.
I'm imagining
food
that-
is served.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. That's fine.
I was just narrating to prompt. So y'all are now all gathering in, sitting around the table. Food's been served.
So, I'm sorry, were you about to say something? Cody?
Oh, yes. It was gonna be like after we had sat down and like got our plates though. So if you had something before that, then go for it.
Yeah, I was about the same time, so you go ahead.
We're sitting down, we're getting our food. He's sitting there with his glass of milk and he says, "So it's my understanding that we are to be provided a certain amount of provisions. Provided provisions. Doubled up there.
Yeah.
Do we know when that is going to be acquired and what goods will be made available to us prior to us beginning our journey?"
I don't know if we have specifics, but I believe Miss Bell said we're going to be welcomed around 3 o'clock. Is that right? At this.
Yes, sir, Mr. Daughtry. We are expected over at the general store around 3 p.m., at which time we will be allowed a private shopping endeavor.
Will we be
Daughtry,
made-
Mrs. Bell, as a female version of a deer. Daughtry.
My apologies, sir. Sometimes my accent does send me in the wrong direction, Mr. Daughtry.
Will we be made known ahead of time what types of limitations there may be on the manner of these provisions? I did not exactly bring the kind of traveling gear or beasts of burden intended for chases and pursuits. I love Daredevil to death, but he is not exactly a pursuit type animal.
Insight check.
I still can't believe you named it Daredevil.
You know what? It's perfect.
Can I roll an insight check on you there?
I mean, you can, but
Professor?
he was. Yeah, I mean, you can, but he was referring to things like active pursuit, which he is not prepared for active pursuit. He's a trapdoor spider, not a cheetah. But go for it. You might pick up
How many legs you
a
got?
little something.
16.
You feel like he's probably he has more than he is letting on,
Oh,
but
dude,
there are
yeah.
things he needs.
Now there's my dear John. He moves about as quick as you or I.
Say again.
John does not move that quick.
So do you not think that a true and honest pursuit will actually be the result of this quest?
I mean, it is a possibility.
Oh no, trust me. I would definitely prefer a situation where I don't do any running, if necessary.
I'm not much of a runner myself, so if we could avoid such things. But I believe we're just talking about travel arrangements at the moment, yes? I assume at least most of us have a horse of some sort to travel with.
Oh, John could carry maybe 2 or 3 of us at a time.
You just
What
say
size category is John?
Large.
He's able to carry 500 pounds and is
Okay, cool. That makes that a lot
large.
easier. Large. Okay. Might be a little cramped with too many people, but he can carry all of you, or most of you, I would imagine.
Did you just say, John, don't go so fast?
No, he does not go that fast. But he's capable of carrying a large load.
So what I'm hearing is that we don't have much of interest to fight. So, Miss Sarabelle, I will decline your offer to sit in your cart. I have my trusted horse. I will use that as my transportation. What I'm hearing is we need to be more stealth-like as we go into Picton. Yes?
DM, real quick, can I roll like a
Sure.
survival check about the journey from here to Picton and some general information about it? Like geography type kind of stuff?
Surely.
Could I help him with that?
Surely.
I could also help with that.
You
You
can't.
get 2 participants.
You can't. Can't help me with it because it's a fucking natural 20.
Oh, shit.
So Clyde, you've made trips to Picton up maybe not quite as frequently as to Crystal Grit. Crystal Grit's a little closer. But you know, Picton is your farm was kind of situated kind of catty corner
Okay.
to Picton. And so, you know, I mean, it's Crystal Grit in the surrounding area, it's not a desert, but it is also certainly not lush grasslands and verdant forests and the like. You know, it's pretty flat. There are some occasional bits of hilly terrain, you know, kind of to the north. Not the more west, and maybe a little bit, both a little southwest west and northwest west of Crystal Grit it starts to get a little more mountainous. But considering that Picton is almost directly north and east from Crystal Grit, it's largely flat. But you do know that means that, you know, things can be seen from pretty far away. But it's also it's relatively safe. There are occasionally small groups. I say small groups, like individual earth elementals are known to surface in a lot of those flatter areas in the more rocky parts. And there's some reports of other, you know, monstrosities and sometimes, you know, restless undead and of course bandits. But I mean, it's no more dangerous or safe than most of you Cryptodol.
All right. I can't remember if you told us last session. Do we know a rough like population size of Picton?
Picton is a little bit smaller than Crystal Grit is now.
Okay.
So it used to be significantly larger, but Crystal Grit's growth in the last 5 years has made it a bit bigger.
So like a ballpark population.
So what did I say?
Like
We said
in-town
that
population.
Crystal Grit is somewhere between 500 and 600 population wise. So like I said, just a little bit smaller than Crystal Grit, so somewhere between 400 and 500.
Okay.
And just we're gonna kind of roll with the natural thing because, like I said, the terrain isn't anything to write home about. But I'll just say, based off the natural 20, that you also do it's weird to call it law enforcement. Talking about Crystal Grit, knowing what y'all now know, but the law enforcement in Picton it's not quite as like the entire town isn't quite as together. So like that's why it hasn't encountered a lot of growth. Like it's a lot more of like individual mining teams rather than all being headed like by a singular, mining organizer or anything like Crystal Grit has. It's a lot more loosey goosey. There tends to be more trouble in and amongst the residents.
Yeah, in the talk into that discussion, Mr. King will just chime in. It's pretty flat. We can ride hard. Maybe make it there by dawn. We eat well now. Get going. Ride through the night.
Do you have a particularly good memory of the town? If you work with me, I could make a map with you.
We could just get a map.
That is fair.
To clarify, when I'm saying that it's kind of equidistant from you, you remember it took you about a week to walk here, right? So a ride.
Okay.
Yeah, remember clarified. You were pretty far out, and you're kind of midpoint, so it's still going to take y'all several days of travel to get to Picton. It's going to be close to a week riding, probably depending on how hard you ride. So probably close to, if pretty hard pace, probably about 4 days, maybe leaning a little bit into the 5th.
Just while we're rolling stuff about this, could I roll a history check to see if I know if there's anything specific about Picton, significant places, significant people, that sort of thing?
Yeah, sure. You may certainly try.
11 plus 5, that's a 16.
16, and you're wanting like significant places or significant people?
Yeah, things that I would have heard of, because I haven't gone any further west than here. So if that place is further west than here, then this would have been from people traveling back from Picton to Crystal Grit. Mm-hmm. So anything that I would have heard coming from there.
I'm gonna say with a 16. I mean it's kind of part of the reason. Like Picton it is slightly more. It's not much more west by much. Than Crystal Grit. So when you were traveling and when you were deciding where to go, it was kind of a toss up, and there really wasn't much. Like you had heard, like its growth is kind of stagnated. It's been through several different mayors, and they very well could have changed even since then. Like leadership has been inconsistent and not particularly strong in Picton. And the most significant things about it are that it is located near some mining areas, and those do still bring a relatively considerable amount of wealth through the town.
Okay.
Do I know if there are any pleasure halls of my religion?
Roll. I mean, I guess roll a religion check for me. Why not?
All right, let's check.
So we're not just rolling all the same thing. No, not continuous history. Switch it up.
9.
Okay. So on a D20, I'm gonna say that means you have a 9% chance to know. High or low?
You know it. High.
Okay. So 91 and above, you know there's one there. Anything below that, you don't know one way or the other. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You're not sure. Got 83.
No, well, roll better.
Since we're all asking you what we know, there's only one piece of information that the professor needs, and that is Did his friend work there? I guess.
Did his friend work there? Roll a history check for me.
Oh no, I left my dice, but it's okay because I just keep them right here.
Also, question: how much information is being rolled for is being shared, like at the table right now?
None.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, all pretty much
I-
all of what
no.
King
Okay,
is saying. He's opening a discussion of essentially riding hard and fast to get there as quickly as possible.
right.
And with his short and to the point tone, he's assuming that everyone is like, we're gonna go get them, and we're gonna get them right now. Let's eat up. This will be our last meal we have before
Pork and beans.
eating them on a horseback type kind of thing.
Okay,
16.
16. I'll say yeah. You kind of have about the same general information that Mr. Dotree had, and basically you learn some stuff about it, and you don't know for sure whether, but you really doubt it, considering how little has changed about the place. You figure
That
Yeah.
individual's particular priorities.
correct, exactly. Like you know that individual's priorities are to not just sit in it, not to remain stagnant, like that, looking for improvement, and that ain't it.
That's fine.
Okay. Wonderful.
So, meals, excellent, by the way.
So Mrs. Sarah Bell's cart can hold 2 or 3 people. Miss Callie has her own horse. Myself and Agatha have a horse and covered wagon just big enough for the 2 of us. The rest of you, are you accommodated as well?
Got my cart, but I don't move very quickly. Daredevil is steadfast,
I have a whole-
but not swift.
Sorry.
It's fine.
I have a horse of my own. Although Gus may appreciate a periodic rest in Miss Sarah Bell's cart.
He's more than welcome.
Our benefactor wishes to include a more quickly trotting beast. I will be just fine in my cart.
I am sure if folks need a faster horse or something, we can arrange it with Mr. Sinclair. But I do believe we are going to be able to move fast enough. Mr. King, I don't think that we need to be getting there in 2 days or so. I do believe that the time to get there will give us some time to plan and think about what we need to do in order to get this done so that we all don't die.
Was it?
Oh.
I'm so sorry. I cannot stop interrupting people today.
Good.
I was just asking if it had been made public knowledge again, because it's been 2 weeks. The reason you are so fervent about this was because of your family situation.
Yeah, we all know that
Okay. I thought so, but I didn't want to say something and then be like, you don't fucking know that. I believe Mr. King's alacrity is well-founded. I don't think it would hurt for us to put a little pep in our step, necessarily.
Sometimes a
I
little
believe-
pep in us. Oh, Miss Bell,
go right
you
ahead.
haven't
No,
spoken.
go right ahead. Go right ahead, darling. You were elaborating a little bit on your perspective.
Well, just from my experience, I've found that sometimes a little too much pep in your step could get you shot. So I would rather not have that pleasure again after being so handily dealt with the other day. So
The other day,
little bit of-
madam, that was last night, and you've healed up miraculously overnight, if I may say so myself. No limps or nothing. How strange such a situation is.
pretty sturdy and hardy.
Verily
That's what
so.
the desert does. It's neither here nor there, Mr. Dotree.
That good
But-
mineral water in you, Cryptidol.
100%.
Callie is quite resilient.
Just don't drink from the well on the southeast side of town.
Noted.
Go to sleep real quick.
Yeah, 100%. No, so I'm. It's like, y'all, we can move quickly, but I would rather take the time to plan and conversate over what we need to do and what the expectations of our employer has for us. But Miss Bell, go ahead and say what you need to say.
Oh, well, thank you, darling. I was just going to share, of course, just my perspective, but I do wonder if this is not necessarily an either-or situation, that perhaps we can move with some sense of urgency without exhausting ourselves, so that we do plan. Part of that plan may be to arrive as rested as possible, as a traveler can be, so that we can execute our duties. Pardon my terminology. With some efficiency, and then return home all together.
Perhaps begin rapidly departing here, and as we grow closer, stop, take a breather, take our bearings, and proceed with a bit more caution.
It'll take us days to get there. We got a few nights that we can discuss things. Easier to hit a slow moving target.
That is true. Before we get into any more trouble, I have certain magical arts that I can provide, specifically to people for either their armor or their weapons. I can help them either their armor be stronger, their weapons deal more damage, and maybe make it a little bit easier for you to hit. Or
Oh,
this one's my favorite with my dear shotgun. I can make it so you may not need to reload as often. Oh, I almost forgot. On top of that, it's easier to hit and deal a little bit more damage.
not have to reload, you say? That could be potentially useful.
Do you have a weapon that needs to be reloaded often?
We'll talk on the road.
To be honest, I would rather get this done now in case on our way to wherever we're going.
Then we'll talk as I pack.
Perfect.
And so Belle's going to look at the clock and say, well, unless anyone has any other things that they really want to explore, perhaps, and my dear Sarah Belle, that is such a generous offer. I wonder if we might want to wait until we see what Mr. Sinclair has available for us. I would hate to waste your lovely gifts on something and then have a regret for it later.
Oh, well, I'm checking the description of infused weapons. I think I can do it every day.
You just have to choose your infused items at the end of a long rest.
That is correct, yes.
Then yes, I can do it every day. So there will,
It's quite the talent, my dear.
I have my gifts.
You simply do, love. Well, that's so generous of you. Thank you.
Well, I am taking the hint, Miss Bell. Shall we all go pack and meet at the general store?
Why do we
Sounds
not
like a
all
plan to
travel
us.
together?
Already
I-
done packing.
Well, I need about
If
10
we-
minutes to get my things, so
If we shall be departing directly from the general store, I would need to collect my things as well.
Oh gosh, I forget my head if it was not attached so firmly. I can also create a certain bag that holds your items.
I'm pretty sure all bags do that.
Well, I can hold. You are correct, sir. I'm describing it poorly. It holds many items, more than a typical bag size would.
I've heard of such contraptions. That sounds like it will provide a great deal of utility.
Indeed. We'll discuss, obviously, beyond the first infusion of your weapon, what to do with the second on the way to the store.
Callie has fully gotten up and walked out of this meeting to go pack my things. Just.
All right. It will never cease to amuse me how players will describe mechanical, like, OC knowledge and things like names of items and their functionality. Like, in character, always fucking gold, and every single time.
Mr. Daltrey and Sarah Bell, your cars, they good going off-road?
Why, yes, of course. John can keep a hand of things.
All right.
I have not tested the suspension of my covered wagon very much. I will be honest with you there, but I'm no stranger to adventure. We can absolutely try it.
All right. He just leaves.
It's gonna be an expensive trip to the mechanic later. You can feel it. You gotta get your brake pads done.
Goodness gracious.
They're gonna rotate
Declare it for a
your
whole
wagon
new-
wheels.
A whole new
But I
wagon.
hope that
Four-wheel
artificer got
drive's been
mending.
on the fritz anyways. It's only got 2 wheels.
Yeah. Yeah, where's the improved suspension infusion from the? You get your own weird hands on your cart now.
They're just elbows on the axles.
Honey.
It's not
No,
my
no.
character.
The meal,
Uh,
Miss Bell, was delicious. And Sarabelle, since we are planning to depart rather hurriedly, kind of looks over at King. Any group matters left to discuss, as I have several things I need to put together.
Two of the group are gone, so
He's not
Partial
gonna
group.
leave until he's made sure.
I have nothing else that I need.
Alistair just like air cheers you with a fucking glass of whiskey. I'm all set here.
Excellent.
Be
I
sure to
trust-
bring that weapon down here when you're ready.
Could you not meet me in my room? I trust you know where it is.
No. I'm a busy woman, much the same as you. I'm sure Miss Bell will not mind the weapon that will be used to protect her being brought into the bar.
Looks over at Miss Bell with a completely blank smile. Would that be acceptable to you, Miss Bell?
I trust you will exercise discretion. We would not want to send the wrong message to our other patrons, making them have the misunderstanding that things have changed in our policies.
What I was trying to do. But Miss Sarabelle insists,
Okay.
so if you do not mind, I shall keep it in its container.
I will handle the weapon and bring it down. I am sure that a security individual maintaining their weapon will not come to as a surprise to your patrons.
It would be best if it were not carried about amongst the clientele and the townspeople. I have a preference for discretion, if you had not noticed.
I will meet you in your room after I get a drink.
I appreciate your leniency to your initial inclinations. Your patience shall not be forgotten. With that, he will head up to his room.
Fancy
Alright.
man and his fancy words.
Absolutely. Jesse, Abe, please clear these dishes away and help Pax get the kitchen cleaned up and ready for the dinner
Of course.
later. And Daisy, darling, please bring my
Yeah.
horse round.
Yes, ma'am. All right. So, everybody packing up, gathering their shit. Some of you, one of you never had your stuff unpacked. Miss King. Had guys one night in the bed, and back on the road. On the road again. Same for Sarabelle as well. But gathering up what belongings. I have no idea how much stuff any of you actually have. But gathering it up in an appropriate amount of time, y'all are meeting out front.
And heading over to the thing. Yeah.
Okay. Wunderbar. So and to clarify, so we have 2 individual horses on Callie and Miss Bell, a horse and covered wagon for Alistair, the much slower wagon of Sarah Bell. Does Clyde have a horse?
He's got a turnip.
A turnip, which also does not move as fast as a horse. Okay. Yes, Sarah Bell.
I realized
Shoot.
the typical movement speed of John is 30 feet,
Correct.
but he has exhaustion immunity.
Correct. So John can go forever.
Yeah, he can double move to 60 forever.
That is the upside of John. I do have a question though. Does John has to be directed, correct? John cannot be fully left to his own devices.
Yes, he will. He needs to be directed by me or somebody that I designate. And if
so somebody
not,
would still have to be like driving, air quotes, maybe a strong word, but course correcting every now and then.
Yeah, every now and then.
Especially if y'all were just going on a road, you can probably just go, John, follow the road until I tell you to stop, and John would be able to follow the road. But if y'all are planning to go cross country, that's where it gets a little hairier because you can go straight, and that may or may not maintain the direction you want to go. So okay, that is a good thing to keep in mind. All right.
Is the road between these areas relatively straightforward, or does it have winds and twists?
The road directly between Crystal Grit and Picton is not much of a road. There's not a ton of direct contact between the towns. There is it's more of like a dirt track that more or less will make its way all the way there. But yeah, there's not like a road. Basically, both places have their one actual road, their actual roads that go to the train station, as well as kind of off towards the coast itself. They do meet up the coast roads eventually, but between the two, it's travel's a lot less frequent. So we have 3 individuals that don't have like horses. So all right, cool. I was just wanting to nail that down in my head. But yeah, you all gather up your stuff, various and sundries, some with our daredevil, some of us with our horses, be they named what they will, some of us on our turnips, some of us on our johns, making their way to, hey man.
You should leave the johns behind.
The riding throne.
They're not really useful on the road.
Don't leave my saloon with no work.
Anyway, yeah.
With the artificer infusion, so but we'll be walking to the room, knocking on the door, of course, with drink in hand.
Drink in hand.
Anything special that she experiences?
Not at that point, but the door is opened to see, aside from the sparse, expectedly professorial things that had maybe been set on the nightstand from the night prior, is the mostly empty wooden crate an enormous, dark wood polished rifle with a scope that runs all the way from the stock down to the barrel, bracketed at multiple places with silver inlay along the stock. The 2 revolvers, a lady pistol, a knife, and like 20 boxes of ammunition. And what is some kind of armor. Looks like it straps on over the clothing. But that's just kind of stacked. And as you walk in, he probably didn't open the door for you, just to come on in. There's bugs or something making noise in the room. He throws something at it. He is, oiling the scoped rifle that takes up the entire length of the bed and protrudes some off the end of it.
All right, fancy man.
You might have guessed, this is a weapon that fires only once. If you were to have some way to cause it to not need reloading, that would save me a great deal of trouble.
Indeed, I do. And
Just
Cerebel will go about infusing your weapon with the repeating shot infusion. And that will, in the process, she'll slowly reach her hand forward while chanting in a language that you do not recognize and is unsettling.
You reach the end of your incantation, and he's probably looking a little discomfited, which is unusual for him, blinking a few extra times and clearly trying to not act like that was a disturbing thing to witness. Excellent. Is there anything at all I must do specifically to make it function?
Don't miss.
Don't intend to. Thank you. Does it look any different out of character, or I guess in character as well?
There's a faint glow. You can tell, maybe when you look out of the corner of your eye, there's something, but when you look at it directly on, is gone.
Interesting. Well, I shall finish preparing my equipment, and I'll meet you outside shortly. Thank you very much.
She'll give you an overly whatever bow and just scold the drink and just walk out.
Gives you a hat tip without a hat, and will finish oiling his weaponry and putting everything back in the box, except for the lady gun for now. The Derringer.
All right. Very nice. Very nice. I'm just saying that's horrifying because that single-handedly just immediately went highest DPR in the party by a lot, which is horrifying to me. That's scary. Anyway,
but hey, you
don't worry,
kill me
Gold.
in
I'm quite
one
sure
round.
you'll find some way to kill me.
rock. Splat. Giant rock in the shape of a D20. Critical splat.
And then you just go, screw.
Oh, that's awful. Ugh. Okay, so everybody gathering up their things. Magical giant fuck off rifle to the general store. Making your way there. Carts and horses and things. It's kind of a weird conglomeration pulling up in front of Caldwell's general store. But of course, y'all are expected. So y'all come in. You note that Jeb he's already kind of hung a little sign on the door that says that they closed until looks like he's giving you guys about an hour just in case. And he's got like a little chalk sign that says away until 4 p.m. As y'all come on inside, and Jeb indeed is there. He's kind of doing a little straightening of some of his shelves when y'all walk in. Oh well, hello everybody. I'm Mr. King. And company. Y'all here? Yes, Mr. Sinclair's orders. If y'all come with me. He leads you guys back. He takes you basically back into his storage room, like his stock room, and off to a kind of a side. I'm about to say a corner. It's kind of like there's one end of kind of a rectangular room, where you can see he has clearly moved things out of the way. This is usually a much more cluttered area. Oh well, so there's certain things that y'all gonna be able to get. Of course, we can't give y'all everything, but Mr. Sinclair did send some instructions about how much of stuff and things I could give y'all. So you just take a look around and y'all tell me what you want, and I'll kind of give you the ground rules.
By all means.
Kind of takes a handkerchief, and y'all are allowed to explore. So.
Can I make an insight check on this man? Is this man sick? What's going
Go
on?
roll. Sure.
Same. Except medicine check.
Oh, that's on.
Well, I guess I would have to physically.
But it is a 7. What'd I say? Insight. That's a 10.
10.
14.
He does with a 10. He does not appear to be attempting to hide anything. With a 14 medicine check, it looks like allergies. Eyes are a little watery, a little like kind of his nose run a little bit.
Same face. Cerebell, same face.
Got a little bit of allergies. But all right. So just to kind of keep things relatively concise, some of this stuff may interest you guys and some of it may not. There are, of course, bullets. Of all varieties. You got bullets for dangers, you got bullets for revolvers, you got shotgun shells, you got notably for Geist, there are bullets that'll fit your big fuck off rifle. There are also guns that match all of these. There's a singular bad news. And it's all by its lonesome in its own box. Guys, I'd say it probably looks a little nicer than yours. Not in like it's magical, but like it was a better craftsman created this. It's just a little more ornate, but it is missing a scope at this time. But there is one of those. There is dynamite. Y'all are going to be able to acquire like 10 sticks of it are being made available to you guys. There are 10 sticks of dynamite. There are 5 flasks of alchemist fire as well. And there are some potions. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say, so kind of how this is going to work. Y'all aren't paying for any of this, but basically y'all are only going to be able to get so much stuff per person. And part of what that limiting factor is depending upon what you pick, each of you. So I say bullets are more or less a field day. I'll say y'all are going to be able to get no more than 50 bullets per person of whatever combination. I'll say the bad news shot is limited to a grand total of 10 shots are going to be able to be taken of the really big bullets, and that's just period. Everything else will be any combination of 50. If somebody's wanting the other big fuck off rifle, you're not going to be able to get a ton else. That is a very nice weapon. It is a very scary weapon. It is, quite frankly, an assassin's weapon for the most part. Either that or you are very specifically hunting like rogue earth elementals that are like that's the kind of work that people do with those guns. Think like elephant gun, but things of that nature. The alchemist fire and dynamite sticks are also, like I said, up for grabs. There are going to be 10 total dynamite sticks and 5 vials of alchemist fire that are being made available to you guys. Now, the big things that are going to be, and those are all relatively loosey-goosey outside of you're not going to be able to just get fuck-ass loads of ammo. The big limiting factors are going to be the potions and the mind stones, or mind crystals, I'm sorry. So the potions that are available, there are 2 potions of advantage. There are going to be 6 potions, common potions of healing. 1 potion of diminution. Potion of shrink. 1 potion of heroism. And 1 potion of mind reading. Now, the mind crystals are fun. These are not going to be relevant to everybody. I will say that these are probably relatively common knowledge that these kind of things exist. It is very clearly that these are being smuggled, because these are some of the crystals that have a little bit of something to them when they are mined. Like they've been mined and are inherently magical. They are, a much smaller percentage of the mined gemstones. And these all can be used to affect spells you cast. There are, I'm sorry, double checking. There are 3 that, and just to be completely upfront with you, so that for how these work, basically they are all meta magic crystals. So, and feel free to ask if you need clarification on that. 3 of them are careful spells, meaning if you use the crystal to affect the spell you were casting, I think up to how many, if it is you can choose up with the crystals up to 3 creatures of your choice automatically succeed on the saving throw of the associated spell. They don't have to roll; they just automatically succeed. Now, if there is still a rider effect for succeeding, they will suffer that still. So it's not a complete freebie, but if you cast like entangle or web or things of that nature, and you affect 3 of your allies with that, they would not be restrained or stuck or things of that nature. There are, good gracious, there are 2 distant crystals, meaning the distance at which you can cast a spell, the range on a spell is doubled if you affect it with the distant crystal. If it is normally a touch spell, it has a range of 30 feet. So it is still effective. It's actually way more effective for a touch spell than it is for a spell that already has range. There is a singular quickened crystal that is being offered up that you guys can acquire. That makes it, if a spell has a casting time of an action, you can cast it as a bonus action instead. And there was one other one. Oh yeah. And then additionally, there are 2 subtle crystals. Those are crystals that you use them, that that spell does not require somatic or verbal components for that spell cast. So
cool, I use those for all my spells.
Yeah, like I said, these ones are much more niche. They're also one of the, between these and the potions, they're the ones that are much more limited. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of I'm going to let you know kind of how this does. So the advantage potions, no individual can take more than 1. So if y'all are going to take both, 2 people would have to each take 1. The common healing potions are no more than 2 apiece. Potion of diminution, small potion of shrink. Obviously, there's only 1 of them. If you take the potion of diminution, you would not be able to take the heroism, the mind reading, or more than 1 of the crystals. Honestly, rather than rattle these off, because this is going to get all kinds of weird and confusing. Tell me what you guys are interested in, and I'll tell you how it'll kind of fall out with what you can take, each of you.
Subtle mind crystals.
You want the subtle mind crystals? Is that all you're wanting?
I'm just throwing it out there. That's what.
Yeah.
That's
So
what
you're wanting
got his
those.
eyes on for sure.
Okay. You'd be able to get both of those. You'd be pretty limited. You could, if you have 2 of the subtle crystals. Basically, you'd be limited for the magic stuff of getting 1 healing potion.
Gotcha.
If you want both of the subtle crystals.
Okay.
Quick question, DM. You described it beautifully.
Sure.
Mechanically speaking, what is the difference between this bad news and mine?
Mechanically, nothing.
Okay.
They are identical. It is just nicer. I just want to say that these are not common weapons. So.
Right. Yeah. No, the
not common use.
He probably
I will
walked
say-
over to it. Oh, go ahead.
This box looks like it was originally big enough for 2 of them, but there's only 1.
He probably walked over, showed some interest, and then upon realizing that it was not of a superior functionality,
Right.
immediately lost interest.
Okay.
There's sentimental value to the one he has. This
Okay.
one's just pretty.
That's fine.
The distant mind crystals.
You're wanting the distant. There was only 1 of the distant.
Hmm.
So if you took the distant, you'd be able to get, of the potions, you could get any combination of either 2 of the healing potions or 1 advantage and 1 healing potion.
I will take 1 advantage and 1 healing.
Okay, so yes.
How do the advantage potions work, mechanically?
Mechanically, let me pull that up for you here real quick because I closed out that tab because I'm stupid. Oops. What did I do here? The potion of advantage, that when you drink them, you gain advantage on 1 ability check, attack roll, or saving throw of your trace that you make within the next hour.
So the potion just gives you 1 advantage.
Yeah, it gives you 1 advantage, and you get to choose when it kicks in.
Okay.
So you can drink it and then just hold on to that advantage for the next hour.
Gotcha. Okay. That's all I want to know.
Okay. Other folks?
Callie would be interested in getting the 2 common healing and some alchemist fire.
Sure. I'll say, yeah, grab 2 of the common healing potions. I'll say after grabbing 2 of the common healing, I'd say you could grab 2 of the alchemist fire as well.
Great.
Yeah, Clyde definitely needs some healing.
Okay. So I want to clarify. So far, Callie's taking 2. Clyde, you're just going to grab 2 of them of the magical things.
I was just going to get 1 magical healing potion.
Okay,
That's it.
so you're getting 1. So that's 3. So that's half of them are being claimed. And then I believe Sarah Bell was going to grab 1 of them as well. So that's 4.
1 for Geist.
Geist was wanting to get 1, and Alistair was wanting to get 1. So that'd be all 6.
Well, that's the only thing I could get, right? That's
Yeah,
in
you'd be
addition
able to get 1 of the in addition to the subtle spell crystals. The crystals are pretty high value. So those take up a lot of your oomph.
Yeah. I would say to the party, while we're standing here. Sorry, I'm trying to think of how to word mechanically shit in here. Now,
Always fun.
I would assume Miss Sarah Bell may also be able to help out with this, but if between you and Miss Agatha taking a look at these, she is quite adept at the alchemical herself. Between these healing potions as well as that alchemist fire there, we may be able to recreate some of these along the road, depending on materials, of course.
Be my pleasure to.
I'd rather you not. Tinkering with the alchemist fire in the middle of a bumpy road sounds like a good way to get John turned to crisp.
Oh, of course. Only when we stop.
All right.
And a suitable distance away from our camp.
Now I would assume my priorities lie with the healing potions anyways.
Okay. So healing potions are currently all accounted for. One advantage potion has been accounted for, both subtle crystals and the distant crystal.
I'm just gonna put it out there as a player. Alistair's not gonna put it out there, but if anyone else is showing interest in those subtle crystals at all, I am more than willing to split those between folks for anybody that's got spells that would like to use those. The subtle.
Which I misspoke. One of the 2 distant crystals. Sorry.
Oh, I was only able to take one.
I thought you
Right.
said you wanted one.
Well, when I asked, you said there was only one.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Then I misspoke. There were 2. Two of the distant potion crystals. Good gracious. Yeah.
And would she have the same deal as Alistair? The just one healing potion?
Yeah, it'd be about the same, yeah.
Perfectly happy with that. I'll take both distant ones and one healing potion.
So potion advantage back on the shelf. So there are 2 advantage potions still left. And what was that, guys?
Yeah, he took his quick look at the rifle and then just takes one of the common healing potion vials and just kind of sticks that in his shirt pocket. And then he's going to go up to the storekeeper and say,
Yes, sir.
shall leave the
Yeah.
exciting items to the exciting people. We are also going to be in need of food and water for our trip. Is that something I could arrange with you?
Yes, that can be done, yes.
Yeah, he's going to negotiate the more mundane traveling necessities.
All right.
Clyde will be right there with you.
Sarabelle will look at the 2 of you. You 2 better get something. If we're in danger, I'd rather you have more than just that one healing potion.
Wouldn't know what to do with the those crystals. First and foremost.
Then get one of them other potions over there.
Just to stop the altercation, Clyde will grab a advantage potion if there's one left.
Yep, there were back to being 2. Now there's back to 1.
Just roll for it.
Yeah. Geist will take that, like stick it in the pocket right alongside the healing
Grabbing the
potion.
other
Like,
advantage potion. Okay.
very well.
All right.
Fancy, man.
Miss Beth.
It's very clear that Clyde just grabbed something and
Right.
he has no clue what he got.
Something's better than nothing.
Geist probably doesn't know what he got either. He grabbed the same thing that that Clyde got. He'll
Okay.
have to figure out what it was later.
Right. Miss Bell, is there anything that catches your attention, man?
I say Belle probably is walking around as if she's window shopping and kind of walks up to Callie. Callie, darling, is there anything that catches your eye, my dear?
Yes, Miss Bell. I do have a couple of healing potions and the alchemist fire, because I do believe that will be quite useful in the coming adventure.
Absolutely. So Belle would want the mind reading potion.
Okay.
Cool.
So the potion of mind reading. Okay, so basically, if you get the potion of mind reading, and I guess granted, all the more common potions have been gotten, but you get the potion of mind reading, you wouldn't be able to get any of the crystals either.
Okay. And then how much of the alchemist fire is left? Any?
There are 3. With
2, 3? Sorry.
you would not be able to get all 3. I'd say with the potion of mind reading, you could get 2 more, which would leave
If I
1.
get alchemist fire, can I also get dynamite?
Surely, it would say you could also get 2 sticks of dynamite.
So I want 2 of the alchemist fire, and I'm sorry, you said 5 sticks of dynamite I could have?
No, 2 dose.
2 sticks of dynamite?
Right.
Dang.
There are 10
Okay.
total. You'd be able to get 2 in conjunction with the 2 bottles of Alchemist Fire and the Potion of Mind Reading.
I feel like it'd be remiss of me if I didn't try to convince this guy to give us more.
You can certainly try him and let you know that he indicated what he was told how to split it with you came from Sinclair. So this would be a hard check.
Gotcha.
So, before he were to roll that, I think I may have misunderstood something. I thought there was like a party limit,
No, it is
not an individual limit.
It is individual.
Gotcha.
That's why
Okay.
Sarah Bell was
No. I got you. The whole reason is I was like, there's not so much I can use here. I'll let them utilize the resource.
If I had been thinking ahead, or like, because I had thought of how I wanted to do this, but I didn't think of a good way to do it until literally just now, I would have given everything a point value and said, this is the number of points your total can equal. I did not think of that until literally while I was like, wow, this was a really shitty way to do this, but you know, you live and you learn.
Gotcha. You said there was Alchemist Fire left? and
There's
Dynamite
1
left.
vial of Alchemist Fire and 8 sticks of dynamite left.
If Geist were to take a vial of Alchemist Fire, how much dynamite could he get?
The last vial of Alchemist Fire, you could get 4 sticks of dynamite.
He will
Considering both
grab
the potions
those
you got
as
were
well.
common. Yeah.
After he arranges all the boring stuff, he'll kind of look, see what's left, and be like, oh, might as well.
Well, because that's where I was getting ready to come over and converse with you, and she'd be like, "Would you mind?"
Please get more shit.
Sarah Bell
The things that go
will
boom.
look at everybody. At least for now, if nobody needs a weapon improved or armor improved, I can make a bag to carry all the food and other shit that we need.
Throw the Alchemist Fire and the dynamite in there together. It'll be fine.
Yeah,
If
it'd
you
be
are
fine.
offering to us to have me filled with less holes than I was last night, I would absolutely take you up on that offer.
Looks around. Everybody good with that?
I believe
Absolutely,
you have
absolutely.
already offered me a fantastic gift, and I'm quite satisfied.
How many? I'm sorry, you said before and I missed it. You can improve one person's armor.
Yeah, I can improve 2 items.
2
And
things.
so
Okay,
I've
gotcha.
done the gun, and I can improve 1 person's armor.
Out of character, one of the fighters should absolutely take this buff over myself. Alistair's looking out for himself.
But if nobody speaks up,
That's why I did.
In character, guys still kind of lean over to you and say, Miss Alistair, perhaps individuals like myself and yourself should focus more on not being in the line of fire in the first place.
That is absolutely my goal. And with such an enhancement, I will be out of the line of fire and more protected. So,
Callie sighs very deeply because she does not trust Sarah Bell. Just because of all the weird stuff. And sighs and goes, Miss Sarah Bell, if you are offering, I suppose I don't mind getting a little bit of help so that I don't get shot as much.
of
You're
course.
quite the bullet collector.
Same thing. The slow hand, the chanting, and now your armor has that same little.
Could you please not do that in my shop?
Oh, it's too late.
Oh,
while they're doing that, Gosa, I do have a question for you. Me and my companions are taking on some dangerous work for
that
dear
was
Mayor Sinclair.
that was what Mr. Sinclair communicated to myself.
You see, this job is mighty important to Mr. Sinclair to ensure that he's done. And
Right, which is why he granted y'all. These are not my belongings. These do belong to Mr. Sinclair.
I'm very sure they do. However, you are the proprietor of such a venue at the moment. You are the one that I have the pleasure of speaking with. So, if you wouldn't mind, take a look, and if you would like to ask Miss Sinclair, I encourage you to do so, but we are on a tight timeline. However, I would like to see our companions here walk away with more security in their pockets, and right now, they don't seem to feel very secure. I myself am right there with them. If you would, consider opening your wares just a bit more.
Roll it.
Can I attempt to give him advantage by
Which
saying, "Farm's dead. It'll be his if we don't come back. Come back, we'll pay for it when we get here."
Okay. Roll with advantage.
Advantage?
Kelly looks over, or like whispers to Miss Bell. Miss Bell, I don't think they realize what's going on here.
I believe you're right, but you know what, Callie, my dear, I believe it is worth a shot. No pun intended, my dear.
What's my DC there, Dungeon Master?
It's a low insight check to see that Clyde doesn't ever plan on fucking coming back here.
Okay. In that case, before you roll with advantage.
No, I mean as far as him caring about his farm.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant as an intent to not
Right.
actually pay back. Okay, never mind. I'll be very frank with you. You've seen this dude just execute a man in his office. You suspect that the crime of actually stealing from him would result in much the same fate. So I'm gonna tell you this is a DC 25
DC 25. Okay.
because it's possible this could get this dude killed
Oh,
potentially.
okay.
Like it could get him killed.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I feel
Depending
bad
on how
about
it's
that.
handled.
Alistair
Yeah.
doesn't really care.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's what I'm just telling you. This puts his life at risk. That's why it's so high, even though y'all are level 3.
Yeah, no. I have to hit a 17 or higher with advantage, right?
Yes, sir. Unless anybody else has something to say about it, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Well, the first roll's been made. That's a 14.
Ooh, it's close.
So close.
It's a 22. All right.
It's close.
Natural 20. That's a 6. So 22.
22. I'll like he looks at King. Look, I'm very sorry for what happened to your family, but I'm in good with Mrs. Sinclair, but well, if I did such a thing without his permission, he may very well decide he can find somebody else to run the store.
So we don't want that now, do we? No worries, Mr.
No, Mr. Caldwell,
Caldwell.
Jim Caldwell.
That's right. We shall remember your face.
Do you want that to sound like a threat?
He can take it for whatever he wants.
Take it how he wants. Looks kind of confused. Wait a minute.
I walk
Shit.
over to Mr.
Shit.
Caldwell and like tap him on the shoulder and go, Mr. Caldwell, you are doing the Lord's work. Don't you worry about it.
Myself, I'm a little more partial to the maiden and the lady, but I'll take the Lord's favor too.
Doesn't hurt to have a little bit of interest in all of them.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Keeps having to wipe out his nose. Mr. King, I'm sorry, but you understand. It's just you would think yours would be different from the house cat, but it's about the same for me. He's allergic to you.
Oh. Right,
This is
well,
not news to you.
right.
He's
I'll get
allergic
outta
to
here.
him, you say?
We'll get a list going. Provisions, etc.
Yeah,
With the dirty 20 on an insight check, does Geist pick up on what he's alluding to?
Yeah, it's not difficult. He just said weirdly, like I'm just as allergic to bats as I am to house cats.
Sorry, that completely threw me off. Did Clyde just say he was getting ready to be heading out?
He will remove himself from the area to make a list of basic provisions that we need for the travel.
Oh, I thought that was already taken care
If
of.
that's already taken care of, then we're good.
I don't know, DM, if you wanted us to how hardline you wanted us to be about like food, water, tents, etc., or if we were hand waving that and just going to plug it into our inventories.
Relatively hand waved, yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't be worrying too hard about it.
I
would be giving guns and magical, like, and ammo and magical explosive, like all kinds of other shit. So I mean, yeah.
Right, we'll take care of the specific. We'll take care of the specific numbers off screen then.
Easily done. Yeah.
But after, Clyde, do you want to come help me load up the traveling provisions?
Sure.
Before we go though, sir, do you have the time?
Oh, actually, about 30 minutes after. So, no offense, but I do have to open the shop back up. Hopefully by about 4.
How did he tell the time, DM?
He checked a pocket watch real quick, just like he did for Bell earlier.
Guys was not here for that though, so.
Right.
I shall hopefully see you again very soon, sir. And then he will.
I wish you all the best of luck.
Go about the business of getting the agreed upon mundane provisions.
Mundane provisions, yeah, absolutely. All right. Anything else for anybody?
I want my bullets.
Yeah, like I said, those you could get basically any combination of 50 of easily enough. Mundane stuff is a lot more loosey-goosey. Just not infinite.
I would look around the store for things, and if this is something we're hand waving, but for things to basically components for making these healing pots and stuff like that, and alchemist fire.
Those would not be here within this store.
Okay, all right, gotcha.
Would you make it relatively clear that that's what you're looking for?
Sure.
I'd say yeah. If you're looking for something for a minute, you're not finding it. Mr. Caldwell would come up to you eventually. Sorry, I'm looking for a name. Sir, is there anything particular you're looking for I can help you find of the more mundane variety?
Well, it is my paramour that is more alchemically inclined than I am, and he'll put down like Kool-Aid in a jar away from the potion bottle that he's holding.
Agatha just kind of taps you.
Oh,
I don't believe that any of those things here.
Oh, very well. I'll hand the potion off to her. Then I need to add that stuff to my inventory, anyways. And
alchemical. Yes. Those would not be here. She usually doesn't make them for sale, but the doctor, Miss Ramsey, Delilah Ramsey. She may be able to provide, considering the service you are that you will be doing for our most gracious man.
Very well, thank you, Mr. Caldwell.
What the one mundane thing that Callie's gonna do and sort of like bring sort of Mr. Caldwell kind of privately go.
Yes, ma'am, Miss Captain.
Mr. Caldwell, do you happen to have any of the latest dress fashions in stock?
I do not know if they're the latest, but I mean, I think there's some that are pretty high quality, if I do say so myself. Maybe not seamstress's work, but imported. So the height of fashion as far as anywhere here is concerned.
Right. I just need just one, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course, Miss Callie. I
Thank
think I can bear to spare.
And I just take one off the rack and get it wrapped up and stick it in my bag. I have a plan.
Okay. Wire ingress. Yes, ma'am.
Belle is going to look for a deck of cards to see if he has a deck of cards.
100%. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Like
Cards,
an
dice.
empty.
Easily.
Okay. Yeah, she just wants a deck of cards and like a blank journal or sheet of paper, anything that could kind of fill that, and then a couple of pencils or something to write with.
Yeah, all pretty easily acquired. All right. Is that it for everybody here in the general store?
I'm sorry, and one other thing, she's gonna look
Yeah.
and see if he has any apples.
Apples? I don't know. Let's see if he has any at this time. I'd say, like, generally speaking, it's a general store. He doesn't like always make fresh produce. It's more like dried goods and things. High, low.
Hi, I was high.
High? No, he does not at this time.
Okay, so she looked around for it, and when she didn't see it, she was just, and then got her things and left.
Yeah. Were you looking to say something, Alistair?
No,
Okay. I thought I saw your hand go up like you were about to say something.
no, I'm just playing with my mustache.
Whenever Alistair does leave the store, Clyde will just sort of, to a side, tell him that James Caldwell's a good man, and then continue loading the cart.
Said that to who?
To Al.
You two good friends, Mr. King.
No.
No. Very well. I don't doubt the goodness of his character or anything of such.
Just nods.
I'm sorry. Oh,
just-
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Just,
Hot
I don't
apology.
You said you could take it as a threat how you want it, so I'll let you roll a d20 to see if he took how much he perceived that as a threat and rolled a 1. So Clyde very much came off as a threat in return of just going like, I'll mess with that guy.
Alistair probably just meant it as I'll remember your face and name, but it would absolutely come across as something more sinister, most likely. Yeah.
Yeah. He probably had like a flashback of one of the fair nights with his family type kind of thing, and be like, yeah, don't fuck with that guy. It just had a flip in the head, like, don't mess with him. That's kind of passing feeling.
All right. And Belle, what was that?
I'm sorry. I was to say, Belle wouldn't have just left, but she would have waited for everybody else to leave, and it being the last one, she would have walked up to Mr. Caldwell and been like, Mr. Caldwell, again,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you so much for your assistance and support. And as promised, and she's gonna, out of seemingly nowhere, bring a package tied up. And Pax sent you some of his special cinnamon buns. As promised,
Thank
those
you.
cinnamon rolls are just for you, and
They
I hope
are
you do enjoy
scrumptious,
them.
yeah.
They are they not? And they are made just this morning. So please do enjoy them
Look at
with
me.
my gratitude, sir.
Of course, man. Thank you so much. And of course, pass along my thanks to young Pax.
I certainly will. Next time I see him, you take good care, Mr. Caldwell.
All right. And thank you, everybody. So, y'all have shopped. What else y'all doing? Anything? Everything? Throwing those alchemist fire like firebombs, you lighten up the town, completely turning the campaign on its head.
I mean, Gaius
So-
was loading barrels and packets of food and stuff onto carts. So
Did we get any more means of transportation? We have everything we need.
The general store does not have transportation.
Okay.
So I
Do
need
we,
to know.
do we
we
need
don't.
any more?
Yeah, that's up to you guys. If y'all want to acquire more, we can make that happen.
I
That
would
is up to what you guys.
I would
y'all
like
gotta tell me
to
what you want.
procure maybe some means of repairing a wagon if its suspension does not hold up.
I got that.
Okay, just making sure.
do I gather that the other transport creatures besides the horses are also as slow as a mule? That was my main reason for wanting to get something, is I don't want to slow everyone down.
Mastiff is 40 feet.
The cart is 60 feet when I
Yeah,
make a dash.
Yeah, base movement speed of 30. Dash to 60. So currently y'all's
Okay.
Yeah, y'all's slowest movement speed is technically John without dashing, and with dashing, that would then bring it to other animals that will start having to being forced to like exhaustion and things.
What's the speed of a mule?
40.
40, not bad, pretty quick.
There we go.
Laden it is?
I don't
I mean,
think
if
it
everything's
specifies.
laden.
I mean, what's it? Well, if we really want to get specific, what's its strength modifier? I fully do not intend on getting into that nitty gritty. I would not worry about it. We will assume is unladen enough, unless multiple of you start trying to pile onto Daredevil. Then we may have some problems.
I'm actually going to stack the cart on top of them.
John's gonna ride on Daredevil. Gotcha.
And then our car on top of that. That was the plan.
Man, this is gonna be short.
Hoping to stealth in by being tall and narrow.
Exactly.
Like,
They can't see us
Gravity also is amplified here in Ucryptia Doll. It's not D6s, it's D12s for falling damage. Just so you know.
Nice.
Have fun with
come
that.
A
on.
mule will have a carrying capacity to push, drag, or lift of 800 something pounds. 860, I think.
That's a buff ass mule.
Or 840, my bad.
That may be entirely accurate. I have no clue. I don't know how strong mules are in real life. But regardless, I am not overly concerned about that. So, is it looking like no further transportation is being acquired?
Yeah, I
This
think
is the most like jank looking caravan ever, by the way.
Yes.
Oh, it's going to look worse.
It's so funky looking.
So we've got a mule, 2 horses, a flesh cart, and a regular cart wagon.
Which I forget does John have like
And a dog.
poser horses to make it look like it's John? No, okay. John just drives himself. Okay.
It's magic, bitch.
Yeah.
Somebody got a problem with
Rotating
it.
hands.
And they can fucking fight me.
They might. Okay.
I got my squad.
So y'all are heading out here close around 4 o'clock, I'll say. Does that sound right? And y'all are leaving now? Any other business to conduct?
Stopping by the alchemist shop really quickly, but we don't need to make that a thing.
Stopping by the healer shop, yeah.
Yeah. Stop by there and see if I can get the resources to make a couple of more potions or anything.
Sure. Can you roll an insight check for me real quick?
Sure.
Since we're not like since we don't, obviously we're not trying to take up too much time with it.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. You find Delilah Ramsey unsettling to you.
Really?
Yeah,
That probably
she's
intrigues
weird.
me. Damn.
Yeah, she is. Like, she's a doctor,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll say that you've not heard anything like negative about her, but being in there doesn't make you feel safer.
Is she unsettling to me?
Did you go as well?
I mean, I figured all of us would.
Oh, sure. Roll an insight check for me. And actually,
7.
is anybody proficient in herbalism?
Me.
Yeah,
That would be
roll an
me.
herbalism check as well.
Poisonous kitten
What
alchemist
numbers? Is that just proficiency?
It'd be proficiency and wisdom. It'd be based off of your wisdom. And what was that, Alistair?
I said just poisonous kitten alchemist supplies for me.
Roll as well.
18.
18?
22.
22. But yours is going to be modified by your intelligence, Alistair.
Okay.
So at 18, did you say 22, Callie?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 18, 22.
11 for me.
11. Yours is more specific, so I'll say yours was a little easier. I'd say my 18 and 22s definitely get it. Like, oh yeah, there's stuff for poultices and that's poisonous, that's poisonous, that's poisonous. 100%.
I like her.
I'll say it's a poisoner's kit. You notice some of the. I'll say you're not within 11. You're not able to identify any of the plants or anything, but you notice in the back that alongside some of her other things, like there's things for distilling, and stuff that you are familiar with for creating poisons.
Well, just the woman we're looking for. I'm not going to be discreet about it at all.
Sure.
As a matter of fact, this is partially what we're looking for as well. Amongst our potions and alchemist file, we're looking for some poisons as well. I'd be interested in seeing your stock and what you've made here, and possibly something on re-upping our supplies.
I'm sure that I don't know what you mean.
There's your distilling kit right there, with the bottle that says poison on the side of it.
Oh, that is simply curiosity.
I'm curious as well.
I look over because I think I've had some pretty nice interactions with Miss Ramsey and go, Miss Ramsey.
Hello, my dear.
Hello, Miss Ramsey. Would you do me a kindness and share some of your more exotic supplies? We're on a mission for Mrs. Sinclair.
Roll a persuasion check for me while I pull up a different page of stuff.
Persuasion.
We activated the boss fight early.
22.
I could probably take her.
There's a probably in there.
That's
you could get really unlucky. I don't know.
It's a 22 for persuasion.
A 22? Oh, for you, my dear. I'm sure that. And doing work for Mr. Sinclair. What is it that you might want?
I look over at Mr. Daughtry and go, Mr. Daughtry, what kind of things do you need?
And people accuse me of having a silver tongue. Ms. Ramsey, we would just like to see your wares. Myself and Ms. Agatha would like to take a look and see if you have the components we're looking for. If you are not comfortable with selling completed product.
Let me roll.
That breathing problem you have, you need to wear a mask when you deal with these things.
High low.
Oh, I don't know if you're asking me or not.
I am.
Always high. We follow the Church of High around here.
Thank you. She currently does not have any completed poisons that she is willing to part with. She does have components.
Cool. How much would she be willing to part with those?
She is going to require some monetary compensation. How much are you looking to get?
I mean, full disclosure, I have 29 gold, 6 silver, and 11 copper. So
I'm not sure what it looks like of making poisons.
I have 75 gold to add to that.
Wow. Did you guys know that a basic poison vial is 100 gold pieces? Holy shit.
And it's not good.
That's not great. I'll say with the 22, that with 29 gold, if you wanted to spend all of it, I'll say for every we'll just keep it a nice round. Every 10 gold you spend, you could get the components to make a basic poison.
For every 10 gold?
Yep.
That's super generous.
I'm a generous guy. I also know that I am horrible at balancing encounters, so I might as well just load you up if I can.
Up to how much?
Up to how much?
Yeah.
I'd say that on hand she would have enough to. Let's see. Actually, let's do another. That she could currently on hand. 22 is really high. She has enough to get you guys 10 enough supplies to make 10 vials of poison.
Before Sarah Bell offers that, offers her gold.
Mhm.
Two things. Is there any religious iconography around, or does she have any on her?
I hadn't decided. Do you want there to be?
Yeah.
Sure. What is Sarabelle's hope?
A reference to either it's the Abyss Tyrant,
The best time? Mhm.
an offspring of the Abyss Tyrant, or her god.
Higher
Obviously, there would not be a straight up like symbol for her god,
Right,
but
right.
like some
Something that might tip you off. Right, right.
yeah. Hi.
Okay. Hi. Okay. Unfortunately, not. It looks like there is some iconography of the Emperor of Earth and the Lady of Waves. Nothing particularly like overt. It looks more of like some things of like things that would be used as like prayers of protection for plants and things of that nature. Water to grace her plant's growth, as well as fertile soil, etc. Nothing like she doesn't look super religious, but more of like no point pissing them off. Yeah.
I see you were a woman of the healing arts. Do you have any samples of any diseases you treated recently? I also am
I
a
do
woman
not
of the healing arts.
keep samples of them. I cure them, or they pass, and then
Well,
they're buried.
When she says or they pass, Callie gives her a very like knowing look of like just as like a familiar joke of
Does not. Nothing passes her face. Yeah, not all is right with this woman, but she's good at her job.
I would definitely suggest it.
It sounds quite dreadful.
Lets you test different cures on different diseases. With the things that you peruse, it may be a good idea. Accidental ingestion of certain substances. Who knows? Best ways to cure them.
Horrible.
I
My
know.
job is to heal my patients, not to infect them.
Well, the best way to heal them is to understand the diseases that affect them.
To each their.
Indeed. Mr. Daughtry, I will be willing to provide you with 50 gold for the purchasing of necessary supplies.
It's very generous of you, Miss Sarabelle. There's no obligation to do so, unless you're just wanting to part with your coin.
Of course. Things that keep you alive will keep me alive.
Very well. We will part with components for 7 vials of poison then, as I will also spend
70 gold.
Yep.
Divvy that up how you guys will.
Already marked off 20 off of my sheet.
Okay.
And of course, I would love to spend time with your paramour in forming these poisons.
Of course, Miss Agatha is he's the brains of this operation.
Well, I have no objection. Cool.
You said she has like various like plants and stuff around here. Yeah, like
She had. I'd say she clearly has the components for also making healing potions.
Wonderful. I will take something off of her shelves that is like something, I don't know, a flower of some sort, and
Sure.
leave the couple copper or whatever it costs behind, and like
Easy
just
enough.
place it behind Agatha's ear.
Easily done. She kind of looks. She kind of lets out like a little bit of like a titter. I believe is the writing term for it. I can't do it. Not quite so elegant.
I want you
Wonderful.
tittering by next weekend. You got to work on it.
I better hear
I'll
you
do
titter.
my best.
Practice.
I'll flutter my eyelashes at myself in my mirror and everything. Don't worry. I'll have it down pat.
Right here.
Fucking champion.
Next week, I expect it.
Very well. The fucking seduce me.
Seduce me.
All right. Anything else anybody's wanting to grab here in town?
Nope. Definitely
Wonderful.
not after that.
Y'all depart, making your way onto the dusty trail, as it were, to Picton from Crystal Grit. And that is where we'll go ahead and take our break, because it's 9:06. So we're going to pop out of here real quick, not leaving forever, just a quick like refresh beverages, bathroom breaks, the whole night, like all that fun stuff. Maybe get a snack. I recommend you do the same, but don't let your computer go anywhere. Keep the screen right, y'all, because we'll be returning and doing this for a little bit longer as our I keep wanting to say our heroes. They are not. They are not heroes. Our
How dare.
ne'er-do-wells, our dastardly do-somethingers. I don't think they're do-gooders, but they're not necessarily do-badders either. I don't know. We'll continue doing stuff, so
We're just
we will
doers.
see y'all. They're doers. They're doers. They're movers. They're shakers.
Doers.
We'll be back. Bye.
New team name.
Ah! How's everybody doing? We're back.
Yo.
Welcome back. Yay! It's a hard night nights with our Whispers in the Dust champagne, the second half of our third episode right now. Technically, I don't know if this is happening for anybody else. My fucking camera is freaking out a little bit in Skype for me. It is really distracting. Anyway, we're back. And we're going to keep on playing and doing things. First half of this session, if you missed it, which is tragic if you did, our party shopped and had some conversations. They shared a little bit about what they knew about their destination of Picton amongst themselves and what the journey may look like. They then went to the general store where they were taken into the back room and got some potions, some crystals of the magical variety that could affect spellcasting, and also fucking bombs, dynamite, and flasks of alchemist fire to supply themselves, as well as some extra ammunition, because they're rootin', tootin', pointing, shooting bunch of guys and gals, and then got ready to set out. And then they decided to pay a visit to the doctor for some poison supplies, which they got some of. And now, as we rejoin them, they are hitting the dusty trail that is between here, our most of the veritable wonderland, the metropolis of Crystal Grit, headed towards Picton, which is like a little bit smaller. It is not. There's like, between the two towns are less than 2,000 people. Not huge. Very dangerous place. Fucking earth elementals just yank you into the ground. Usually you don't come back. That is a danger if you weren't aware. Just think on that. So, guys and gals, ladies and gents, you are going on this trail. You know it's going to take somewhere between 4 to 5 days, more or less, to get you from here in Crystal Grit to the outskirts of Picton. Now, it is about 4 p.m. today. I need to know what kind of speeds y'all are looking like, how hard you're trying to push yourselves, both speed-wise and distance, for this afternoon.
All of the speed and all of the distance. And
All the speed and all the distance. Okay. So how late are y'all trying to go? I guess is the more accurate question. When are y'all planning to stop? Because after a certain point, John is the only one that, like, the only mount that does not require rest. So mounts will start having to roll for exhaustion, and eventually riders will as well. Those who are not, sat on a cart. If you're sat on a cart, your ass is just going to get sore after a while, probably.
I think
Like damage.
I don't know, define damage.
as we are heading out, and Callie sees that Mr. King is trying to push a specific like pace, she's gonna pull him aside and go, Mr. King, I know that you are anxious to get this done, but if we are not careful, those earth elementals will kill us. And there are bandits and other things that a moderate pace would be better suited for our excursion.
I don't believe you're correct.
Speak up.
I don't believe you're correct.
I
We
don't.
get attacked by elementals, we need to go fast. We get attacked by bandits, we need to kill them quick. And if we need to get to where we need to get to the people so they don't die, we can't do it yesterday.
I'm not saying that we mosey our way to Picton. I'm just saying that going out without thinking about it can cause problems.
We got 4 days, 5 if we mosey about. What you want to talk about? What do you want to discuss? We don't know where they are. We'll find out when we get there. The sooner we get there, the sooner we can form a plan.
I think I understand the necessity to rush, from my understanding. Genevieve may be in danger. So I understand the necessity to rush. But while we remain in Earth Elemental Country, I am concerned that we may disturb them. And if we end up dead, then we won't be getting there in any time.
DM, is that an
Yes, sir.
actual thing in the game to where if you make no more noise, you'll attract more if you're moving faster or at a harder pace?
Not necessarily. You could get really, really, really unlucky. I mean, it would be relatively common knowledge. Like earth elementals have tremor sense.
Right.
So if you are passing within their range, they may very well feel the vibrations of a not quiet passing. Like especially if you're riding hard, a lot of galloping that could be. So I mean, it could happen. I mean, if you're
No.
not traveling carefully, if
will-
like there are earth elementals around. What's up?
I
I
guess
have a
I
question.
guess
I'm sorry.
I guess what I mean to say is not necessarily like we're going at a straight gallop to like kill our horses or my dog in,
Right.
in a few hours. Just a pace that isn't one that you'll be like, okay, well, just it's dark outside, so let's go to sleep for 12 hours. Like a
Oh,
constant,
no.
steady pace.
Purpose. Right. Moving with purpose.
Right.
Right. Yeah, no. Callie's
Yeah.
okay with moving with purpose. The way that
I'm sorry.
you have described, like, it's like, it felt like to Callie that you
Yeah,
were
you can't
like,
sprint for 4 days. That's just an impossibility.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, it's
you
just
would
like,
die.
what is,
Yeah.
what is this? Like,
Yeah.
Those con saves would get wild fast.
so,
I'd say like and like to clarify with the earth elemental thing is they don't very frequently come to the surface. I mean that's like the mines go deep, but I mean there are occasionally stragglers that will have wandered up, especially if in caravans that are holding a lot of loot, like a lot of gems and things. Like those are things that these elementals are like kind of magically drawn towards. Like that these are things they gather, so they are more likely to attack things any like large gathering of gems, the more magical gems you have, like that you guys have. Y'all have very few, just for the record, but those kind of things do get attacked, and it's the more mountainous the area, like the more rocky and stony, the more likely. So it's one of those where that's a navigating your Cryptodol is at least partly pathfinding and partly trying to navigate away around or carefully through areas that may be more likely to hold earth elementals. Also, because I am dumb and we were trying to get on break, we're gonna briefly flash back to right before you guys exited, and Callie, while y'all were harnessing up your stuff, the sheriff McCall came out. Oh, good gracious. Oh, Miss Callie. Of course, coming to I see you and your companions are getting ready to set out. That's quite well. I heard there was some ne'er-do-wells that had set upon a farm not far from here, as well as maybe it may have hit Mr. Sinclair's caravan. Very good of all of you to choose to enact the law, and of course, as as being in that capacity in which you're acting, to make sure, just in case you mind, and of course, don't go flashing it around. Just in case, that at least one of you have one of these, and he gives you a deputy's badge.
I take it and go, wow, Mr. McCall, I do dearly appreciate that, and just like tuck it into my pocket. I have a pocket right here.
It's definitely best to keep that somewhere. Unobtrusive. Unobtrusive, of course, told me that you may want to be sure that is only if you absolutely have to, due to acts of the law getting back to ears best left out of such things.
Right, we will be doing, hopefully, things subtle like when we get to Picton. That is at least my plan.
Wonderful. Well, a quick and fortuitous journey to you and your companions. He kind of flicks his cowboy hat, he doesn't have. He has more of a bowler. Sorry, kind of tips his bowler hat to you, and goes about his business. So, sorry. Flip back to the present.
Yeah. I propose to everybody, just so that we can sort of expedite some of this, of like riding until the sun has gone behind the mountains and set up camp, just because we are leaving fairly late. That's Callie's proposal. We don't have to go with that, but that's what she proposes based off of her experience with her job.
It is not to me. I'm be sleeping in the wagon when the Miss Agatha, so and we have everything we need in here. So no need for a camp spot for us.
I'm also well prepared to sleep in John's carriage.
I've been sleeping in my cart for weeks now. A few more days can't hurt.
I'm fine.
I was going to say, Mr. King, Miss Callie, it looks like it might be just the three of us with our bedrolls and blankets near the fire.
But don't get me wrong, I've got a bedroll, blanket, tent, whole 9 yards, but sets it up in the cart. Beats cold ground.
John has lovely cushioning and leathers to keep me warm.
I'm
Of
quite
course,
sure.
if anybody needs a bedfellow,
Nope. I
He's always
appreciate your
welcome.
hospitality.
Built-in heating, heated seats.
No.
Massaging seats. Imagine.
Stop it!
John does give massages.
Imagine.
He's got that one hand, that one arm.
Is it just like one giant butt cheek that you sit on?
Or you know how like you lean up against like the wheel when you're like sitting around eating your dinner and hands are like.
You ever cuddled with somebody who's like really bony?
No.
No.
Rather slender.
No.
Will you allow that I have brought along a flask of whiskey? So as we're eating,
100%.
I'll offer. If anybody would like a bit.
If anybody would like to PvP Cerebell right now, I would not. That's fine. You guys, I would take this time to remind you, you guys can do what you want.
We're not quite there yet.
Not quite there.
Not quite close.
There is that dueling system. It's ready to go. Like we got a screen for it and everything.
So something else that will make you want to PvP me, Sarah Bell. If we are getting ready for that first day of travel, or if we're already through the first day of travel, as we break line of sight with the town, John will, Sarah Bell will say, "All right, John, make yourself comfortable." And John
Not
will
like
stop.
anything involving that carriage.
Will stop and
Ugh.
drop the wheels, lowering itself down to the ground. And you will hear a squelching sound as arms expand out from the sides of the carriage, place the wheels into the bed of the carriage, lift itself up, and begin to start walking itself down the road.
Fucking
I
terrible.
look at Agatha and
Why
I go.
did you say squelching? Oh,
I look at Agatha and just go. Reminds me of university, and we just kiss.
Oh, you just fans
One-
a little bit, a little pink.
One big
I-
difference that you will notice, there is no
Hands.
creaking. The creaking was the sounds of the bones adjusting and clicking to
Callie
the wheel.
straight up just is in the front. She's in the front, leading the way, just like humming to herself. Just la 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 la.
Geist, priding himself on his composure, is simply maintaining a 1,000-yard stay.
I leave it entirely up to you guys whether any of you have run into any of this kind of magic before. I mean,
No.
this is entirely up to you guys.
actually, you know what? DM. So Belle traveled all around the continent before she came.
Sure.
Would she have encountered anything like this in the past?
I'd say it's entirely possible. I'm not gonna say it's like a widely practiced practice, but I'd say it is far, like Sarah Bell is far from the only individual to practice fleshcraft.
So,
Uh,
okay, I'm going to say that while Belle isn't comfortable with it per se, that she's not like totally wigged out. She's just kind of like, okay, Gaston, why don't you hop up there and keep Mr. Geist company in his cot? You need a little break. You've been running pretty hard. Rather than sending him into John, she's going to send him
Right.
into.
Yeah.
It
It's
is,
definitely, this is a more unique use of fleshcraft. Probably like the more common, like the common uses would be like flesh golems and things that wizards and the like have created. Like a cart made of person is a little weird, but the practice itself would not be completely anathema.
It's much more comfortable for him this way. As you can tell, the wheels are more of a accommodation for the townsfolk. It's not the most comfortable for his arms.
it didn't seem the most logical to have a hand turning a wheel. Am I the only one that seems think this is less weird than hands turning a wheel? I don't know.
Well, for John, it is much less weird.
Well,
That
as
is
long
what
as
he-
John is more comfortable, that's what we would prefer.
We would not want John to be uncomfortable. That
Callie's
would be
ignoring all of this. Just
that would be wrong.
No.
That would be
Nell's
wrong.
just gonna like offer the flask to Geist, like
He takes it. You have not seen him drink. He has only drank milk, but you see him take a hit of that flask.
As long as he does not break any more rules, and she runs her hand along the edge of the cart. His comfort is my comfort.
I am going to regret asking this, but what happens if he breaks the rules?
Well, you'll be dealt with.
You know what? take it back. It's fine. He will take
It's quite hard for
another
him to
quick
break
nip
rules
and then
now,
hands it back.
but still, they are in place.
I'm sure he will not break any rules.
I gotta imagine these are pretty beefy arms.
Oh God, that just makes it even
They're
worse.
supposed to be jacked, right? They're
Yeah.
like super
It
jacked.
can carry
like,
500 pounds.
Yeah.
I imagine they
Are
probably
their
it looks
shoulders too, or
unnatural
just-
though.
Oh
Yeah, I mean, are they like, chicken legs skinny and it's just like all magic stuff, or we got like Schwarzenegger arms carrying this thing?
They are they're not chicken leg skinny. They're like, you would probably say a somebody who cares about their muscular appearance, but not like Arnold
Athletic.
Schwarzenegger or
Okay.
yeah, athletic. That's a good word.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
but not Arnold Schwarzenegger, weightlifter.
I
or the-
cannot get the image of No Face from the Studio Ghibli movies out of my
Yeah,
head for this.
I tried to go close with that, but his arms are thicker.
I have a mental image. I'm gonna keep
Okay.
it to myself
Yeah.
because I don't like it. Cool. That's fucking awful.
So
And I knew
I love my
I
cart.
knew it was happening. It was like,
I love my cart.
So this John has got a brain or anything?
Nope.
So you call it John, just like some people call their guns names?
No.
Was it made from someone named John?
No.
That's the question you don't need to ask.
What's the purpose of naming it John?
Well, he was a John,
Oh, there you go.
made of several Johns, in fact. Individuals at previous establishments who broke rules of those establishments.
So this is
Mo-
a cautionary cart.
Yes,
All right.
mostly individuals who became too rough with the girls.
You know, you can
Bell
just
kind of nods approvingly, and
you can just shoot them, you know.
Oh, I did. Times they shot back, and she holds up her prosthetic arm. Sometimes they hit me.
I
But-
see.
They ended up in John.
I don't like that phrase.
It's a very religious type of experience. He is John within John, like the Father and the Son, all that metaphor.
Oh, they met a god. A very kind god. Runs her finger along the edge again.
y'all
And
thought
they
I was
saw-
gonna introduce weird eldritch horror into this. It is not me.
They saw wonderful joys that many people never see in their lives.
How lucky.
Make a religion check
Indeed.
to see if I know what that means.
Surely.
All
Ooh,
I can
not
think
good.
of is that she is worshiping Slanesh.
Kinda.
Not
Is it not good?
9.
9. I'm gonna leave how easy it is to know anything about your religion up to you. If you think a 9 would get anything, that is entirely up to you.
I
did one do it
mean,
at 17.
There you go.
17 definitely gets you a lot more than 9. The 9 will get you because I mean, Mr. Dotry would be looking in areas probably that purveyors of the religion would be in, or close to people. You may have heard passings of a god by the name of Sanis or Shanis or something close to that.
Dennis.
Yeah, Dennis, that's it. 17 gets you Yeah, there is a god by the name of Sanus. There, you've heard of him. Is the Devourer of Joy is his title. He has an occult following amongst a lot of sex workers. And typically worship to him involves just anything that generates joy or the consumption of others' joy.
This is also a relatively young religion.
Yeah.
Compared to the worship of the Pentian and I forgot my other religion. Good God.
A relatively young religion, also known as a cult.
Yeah. Compared to like
Wow.
the worship
Yes,
of the
it is a cult. Yeah.
of the Radiant is also relatively young, but it is a religion. It is younger than the worship of the Pentian, but it is like an actual established religion. It's just a much smaller religion. This is new, like within a generation new.
And you may have heard of the Abyss, it's stemming from the Abyss Tyrant and one other goddess.
Quick interjection for those at home. The pantheon they're referring to, the Pentian, it consists of the Sun Maiden, the Moon Lord, the Lady of Waves, the Emperor of Earth, and the Abyss Tyrant. There are 5.
Since I worship 2 of those, and that's how I derive my power, I need to roll to see if I don't want to offend someone who is also within the fold. So a 13. So would I note it, like, based off of the things that she is saying? It's only a 13. So is there enough? Is she saying enough of the buzzwords that I'm like, ah, shit?
I feel like with the information given with a 9 and the information given with a 17, that 13 kind of falling very, very close, almost exactly in the middle, actually, between the two of those. I'd say you'd get some of you've got kind of some of that there was worship of spawn, like that there was supposedly some spawn of the Abyss Tyrant and one of the other members of the Pentian that has started to kind of create a following of its own. So and kind of like so you got bits and pieces of that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if Callie particularly likes any, like, she derives all of her power from the Sun Maiden and the Abyss Tyrant from what happened to her, and so I don't know if she necessarily likes any of these offshoot bits, and so just kind of, again, narrows her eyes and just sort of keeps moving forward, of like ahead of folks by, I don't know, 5 or 10 feet, because just not too happy about any of this weird. Just doesn't like it.
I'll definitely say that anybody who is religious at all, or at least knowledgeable of the worship of the Pentian, is that this practice is weirdly intimate for any of the members of this pantheon. Like that is they're generally speaking their worship and their interactions with the mortal realm is very relatively hands off. So this is weirdly involved.
Yep. Doesn't like it.
Yep, that would probably ping on Geist's radar, except for he is doing everything within his mortal power to not pay attention to Sarabelle or John right now.
Surely, yeah.
He's seen a lot of things, but not this.
Yeah, you all can do with this information as you will.
If we're all set up for like with fire and stuff like that and waiting on
That is an important question of how late y'all went. This conversation can take place around the fire or it can take place on the road. That is kind of up to you guys and how late you guys were wanting to travel. That is what is relevant to me.
I thought it was on the road, but
Yeah, I figure we do 10 p.m. to midnight, somewhere in that area.
Okay. That sound good to everybody? Okay.
Cerebel's chilling in the back of John. She ain't really got to do much.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, the only thing with Alistair is he would have like his hat on, coat on, gloves on. He's covered pretty much from head to toe to not get hit by the sun all that much, as his pale complexion would keep. But other than that, I'm fine with 10 o'clock, and I figured this was fireside chats.
yeah. I'll say that when for Alistair, when like almost at the same time as you like, you know, you like you think you recognize that name, you do feel like a little like a hand kind of on your wrist at that same time. Is that kind of like both of you like you don't know exactly, but you know, it definitely y'all both have heard that name before or heard something like it.
Right. So, I mean, if we're down by the fire and everything, I'd start asking questions, but
This is entirely up to you where this timeline is at.
I don't want to skip past anything else anybody's got
Yeah.
if they all got daytime stuff.
Nope. So round the fire. Y'all have
Guys,
found.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say y'all have found, and I guess it kind of depends on how. I don't know what pains you all are taking for your campsite, or if y'all are just plopping down. That I am curious about as well. We're not gonna try to spend too much time on it, but what care are you all taking in choosing your campsite,
Flat.
if any?
On a scale of 1 to 10, as far as Clyde's concerned, he'll put about a 2 in for getting it out of the way.
So you're more of the like we'll get off of the road and then
the
plop
most
down.
obvious thing, if there's like a half a hill so that it's not visible, we're not skylining or something from every angle, good enough.
Cerebel will use her wonderful feature, background feature, Wanderer.
Read that
Try.
off for me real quick.
I'm going to skip the part about maps.
Surely.
In addition, you can find food and fresh water for yourself and up to 5 other. Sorry, cough. For yourself and up to 5 other people each day, provided that the land offers berries, small game, water, and so forth. She would spend her time trying to find some food and water.
Okay. Question. So far, I'm hearing very little effort put into choosing the campsite. Is there anybody else putting more?
Geist would love to. He is very much a planner and do things the right way kind of person. But he's also 100% a city boy and has absolutely no idea about fieldcraft. So,
Fair enough.
other than voicing his opinion that perhaps we should find something defensible or out of the way, that is all he can do.
I rolled a survival check to see if there's anything just like close nearby within 100 yards of us deciding it's a good time to wait, and got a 21.
I would say that indeed half a hill. It's not super hilly country, but you know it at least provides some amount of blocking of line of sight and things. So that if that is okay with everybody else, does that sound acceptable as a camping spot? So easy enough. That is where you all find yourselves.
And Belle would probably like dig a hole, not like deep, but to put the fire in, so it's not just
so
like
it's not just
blazing out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely, easily done. Gus assists enthusiastically.
and that's done it. That
Like that, yeah. Fucking loves it. Big fan. Might be a little too deep. You're not quite sure.
it's his favorite chore.
If we're digging a hole for the fire pit, is that something John can help with, or is he just strictly go for it?
Yeah, he can try his best.
I think Gus has it taken care of. Let's leave John out of this, if that's all right.
That sounds reasonable.
All
Well,
right.
he's oh too happy to serve.
My needs are very slim.
I am quite
Well, this
intrigued
is
to see
some-
him attempt to dig a hole.
He could use one good arm, then swap out the other one when that one might get tired.
As a compromise, might I suggest this is one of
Fucking
Gus's
awful.
favorite things. I don't much allow him to dig around the sunrise, as you might imagine. That would be a little dangerous for our patrons to be stepping in holes. So perhaps John wouldn't mind helping fill in the hole after we're done, because that is not something that Gus enjoys quite as much.
Right. Yes. Why deny Gus his small pleasures?
Of course, he can provide me with a back rub.
That sounds
Sure.
lovely. I believe you should take a break too, ma'am. You have done quite a bit.
I'd say it's probably fairly easily noticeable that throughout the day's journey, despite the on the road bathroom breaks as horses tend to take, and everyone camping down for the night, that Turnip has not eaten anything, drank anything, or had any such breaks.
Why are you so mean to your dog, man?
Hey, I just fucking hate that dog.
Well, I was actually about to say, if there are horses for John that need feed, I got a solid amount of it. So while I'm going around like while I'm helping folks out, I got 70 pounds of it.
Oh
hell
shit!
yeah.
That sounds like a lot to me, but I feel like I don't know how much that actually is.
It's supposed to get
3
a mount.
days.
One 10-pound bundle is supposed to get a mount through a day. So this is for
Gotcha.
7 days of feeding.
I don't believe my lovely John needs to eat. He doesn't have a mouth.
How interesting.
Grass? Oh, I'm sorry.
That's it. That's all I said. How interesting.
DM, is there grass around?
Yeah, there's some. There's not like I said, it's not super duper grassy, but there's plenty of there's enough like scrub and things for the horses to graze.
Yeah. Callie just lets her horse graze and finds a flat spot and sits down and is like, all right, y'all, let's rest our bones here and maybe take our rest.
Be over there in one moment. And while Daredevil is also grazing, Geist is going to open the crate that has still been shut and locked the whole time. You'll see him start to buckle on these like subtle, like matte grayish brown leather plates on over all of his dress clothes, and then he puts on a hooded poncho with the hood down, that seems to kind of like lose like focus when you look at it, kind of deflect attention. For the rest of you, this is also the first time you see his long rifle. He also buckles on his revolvers, and he sticks a big Bowie knife in his belt.
That's a knife.
Why, Mr. Grass, it seems that there is more to you than meets the eye, sir.
Academy research is an exciting business on occasion.
Mr. Who?
I forget what we call it. What's his fake name? What's
Professor.
name?
Okay, that's
Professor
that,
DuPont.
that was
And
Professor
Professor
DuPont.
Yeah. Professor.
Dumont.
Professor. It seems
Dumont.
like that is more.
Dumont. I called him
Dumont.
DuPont on accident once, and apparently it's just immediately
stuck.
is inserted.
They don't remember the real one. They remember the fuck up though.
I'm Mr. Professor. That's what I've called him almost every single time I've referred to
Yes,
him. So I'm
Professor.
like,
That was an out of character
Professor.
slip up, though. That wasn't something that you knew. And okay,
Yeah. The
That was me messing up.
I thought Miss Bell knew something that I didn't. I was about to get excited.
I wish. So, Professor, so tell us about academia and how it brings you out here, particularly attired. So,
one must protect oneself while traveling. As far as research, I have a academic colleague I would like very much reintroduce myself to.
Indeed. Did y'all do a project or?
It's very late. Shall we not save long stories for longer days?
You are correct. We do have several days of travel that we will want to entertain ourselves on.
He just kind of cuts his eyes over to John and. Yeah.
Cerebell's getting the best back rub.
He cuts his eyes back real quick.
Fancy man. Does your studies bring you any joy?
Depends on the day. He
That's a shame.
talking to you without turning his head to look at you.
You should find something that brings you joy every day, as I do.
I try to find joy in many aspects of life. Beautiful things, beautiful people, delicious food, good music. You know, joyful things.
I look over at Mr. Daughtry and go, Mr. Daughtry, you have traveled and been writing such pretty tales. Why don't you regale us with a story unless you have other things to attend to?
Well, I would actually like to ask questions myself instead of stories. It's all right. Miss Kelly, I have quite a few questions for quite a few people here. I'm here for a story myself. Oh, maybe I'll take you up on that offer another time, perhaps. Yeah, Mr. King, I noticed your pup hadn't had much to eat today. Do I have a couple of sugar cubes or something that he might want to nibble on?
It's a she. She hadn't had anything to
Well, I do apologize, madam. I will tip my hat to the dog.
eat or drink in a few years.
Cerebell kind of leans over.
Is there something obvious with the dog?
The dog has literally pupilless glowing green eyes.
I'm not sure how I missed that before. It's very obvious. It seems my passive perception
Snaps
is
her
not
fingers.
quite that high.
We've had many distracting things on our journey. It's to be expected, small things to be missed. This is in character, by the way.
The family dog had a rough go in. Didn't want to break it to the sun. Wife's a necromancer.
Oh,
Sits up.
fascinating.
Yep.
Can I use my divine sense? Like,
Sure.
I would. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Is this like an undead
Undead.
dog?
While she's doing that, Agatha brings over to Alistair a black leather-bound book and ink pot and quill, and he'll take a seat and just start.
I do have a
jotting
quick
stuff down.
question, actually. What all does Divine Sense detect?
Yeah, so my divine sense is until the end of your next turn, you can sense anything affected by the hollow spell or know the location of any celestial field, fiend, undead within 60 feet that is not behind total cover. And I think that the way that she activates the divine sense is that she takes the thing off of her collar and just sort of starts to rub it like you would like prayer beads almost, like if you're like, you know, counting a rosary or something, and just starts just a. And I don't know if anybody else notices it, but it'd be sort of like a wisp that she can see that sort of meanders around everybody and goes out until it reaches that 60-foot thing. So she's just.
And just for my own curiosity, I don't know every single little detail of everybody's characters. Is anything else pinged by that Divine Sense aside from Turnip? Anybody wants to share with Callie?
What were the specifics again of divine sense? I'm so sorry.
Hallowed,
Celestial,
desecrated. Yeah.
fiend, or undead. Specifically for entities, but the hollow spell.
Oh, think there's anything else, but just in case I missed something for anybody's stuff.
You tell me, DM.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Right.
And technically, yeah, I don't think tieflings count as being fiendish.
No.
They're still humanoid.
Well, and I mean, I've worked for
Yeah.
this spell, so I'm like, aside
Yeah,
from
that wouldn't be new even if it did.
Yeah.
Which I don't think mechanically they do not.
You
Just-
you may get a small ping off of Alistair. It's not like an entire creature or anything like that. So it probably like barely registers, but something very small of a, I don't want to call it fiendish, but yeah, I mean that'd be the most apt, I think. Probably fiendish or undead, like presence, like one of his items, but
okay.
Just a little bit of a
Yeah, I mean,
bit
just
of a
like it
wispy.
like wisps around, and
Yeah.
she also did it because we're parked in the middle of the desert, and who knows what's around us.
Nothing within 60 feet at least.
Okay.
And I don't like calling the card undead because
It's not. It's a
technically
construct.
not,
Yeah, it's a construct.
but also
Yeah.
it's made of people.
Still wouldn't ping as undead.
Okay.
Flesh golems wouldn't, so therefore the card does not.
Okay. Perfect.
So, yeah, I mean, she's just kind of doing that quietly.
Easily enough. Any other conversations folks want to have tonight?
yeah. but it
Let's
took a
go
while.
for
Up to you guys.
Go,
Yeah, I mean,
If you guys want to talk about stuff, talk.
Yeah, there's like, let's have this campfire chat.
Y'all eating pork and beans and drinking some coffee and whiskey. You know, as you do.
Back rub.
That's what cowboys do, right?
Yep.
That's what cowboys do.
We've had 2 nips of whiskey. That is quite enough. For
You are such a shit cowboy.
Jesus Christ.
My apologies, Scott.
Wonderful professor. Yeah, this is God just directly into your mind. Why? You're supposed to be a
Fancy
cowboy,
man.
damn it.
Fancy man, drink the wine.
Wonderful professor. Shit cowboy. Very, very, like, very, very wild things. You'll adapt. You haven't been here that long. Give it time.
I think I'd want to have a conversation with Cerebel. So I'd probably,
The floor is yours.
yeah, I would go over there while she's enjoying her back massage. Still book in hand and stuff like that.
Ear to ear smile.
Enjoying yourself, Miss Cerebel.
Oh, I always do.
That is wonderful to hear. I have a couple of questions for you, if you would indulge my curiosities. You spoke earlier of sending to someone of a joyous God. I'd love to hear more about this.
Oh, do you?
If you also
Do your readers, are they open to, let's say, more esoteric religions?
Miss Cerebel, my readers do not know.
Esoteric. I see.
My readers don't know what they want until I give it to them.
Well, what can I help you with?
Anything and everything. I'm a curious man.
The smiling God is
Is that
always
what it's called?
welcome to new faces.
Smiling God. I believe I've heard something of the sort, but I'm gonna be completely honest with you, being new to this area. I haven't heard much of this smiling God. Something of a Sanus or a Shanus, but other than that, my knowledge is shallow. I'd appreciate
She-
it if you could. Go ahead.
Sanus.
Sinus. My apologies. No offense intended.
He prefers call proper. Uh, the vow of joy. Lovely man. Woman. They.
All of them.
Indeed. What else do you wish to know about them?
Oh, Miss Sarabella, anything that you're willing to give on the matters. How do you worship? How do you show your devotion to such a creature? How did you come into contact with such a divine being as the devourer of joy?
Oh. Well, why don't I tell you about my first scar? It's this lovely one right here. She traces from right underneath her eye down to her chin. It's also how I met my dear Genevieve. She was entertaining a fellow who, much like John, got a bit too energetic.
As the
And
lesser of us tend to do.
I, of course, heard this as I provide my security quite well. Slept in through the side door, and I see the man standing over my dear Genevieve with his fist raised. Well, that was the last time he did that.
I imagine.
I gave him a dear crimson smile. But to my shock, dear Genevieve gave him a few cuts of her own. Appears she was not as in need of my help as I had thought. Well, seems that this fellow had been marked ahead of time already by certain powers, let's say, to meet Diosanis. Well, from there I was introduced to the lovely life of a worshiper of Sanus. All the joys and trials and tribulations that come with it.
So
The Johns.
relatively a recent occurrence.
A few years,
Okay. And this is when you met your Genevieve.
yes. Unfortunately, my work took me apart from her, but we maintained a correspondence.
Are you cool if I roll an insight check on you there, Cerebel?
Sure.
I would like to know if when you speak about Genevieve, if it borders obsession. Or is just obsession. Ooh. That's pretty good. It's a natural 17. Insight is +3 for a dirty 20. And then I'm going to use one of my abilities to add a d6 to it. Which is a 6. It's a 26.
Jesus Christ. From a healthy point of view, it is obsession.
Gotcha.
From Sarabelle's point of view, she borders obsession, but views it as love of Genevieve.
Right. Cool.
Oh, I'm sorry. Would Belle have known, or if Genevieve wanted to be found by Sarah Bell or was maybe avoiding Sarah Bell?
I'm gonna leave that up to the dungeon master.
Hmm.
Because she is a worshiper of Sanus.
I'll say,
Genevieve is also.
Yes.
which, from my understanding, would not have been an advertised thing.
No, but in the story that I told, I did say that she left cuts on him as well.
Also said that that was the beginning of her relationship with the god, which I guess doesn't happen in a vacuum.
But I will say that Genevieve did not mention Sarah Bell by name. I'll say a little bit before she set to leave, she had asked if you could put in word to make sure that a letter she was sending made it exactly where she wanted it to go. That she was sending it to a friend.
Okay, thanks.
And my worship, much like other gods, I mean, Sanus only asks that his worshippers find joy, the most joy, in fact, that they can in the life that they live. And for those that abuse their joy, well, what joy they would earn in life, they can feed to him in death. And for those that commit ultimate sins, such as the murder of children, they ought to be killed outright.
Interesting. Truly. And thank you, Miss Sarah Bell. I appreciate you sharing this with me.
Indeed. Any questions you have, I'll answer to the best of my abilities, though I do ask that any information about my dear Genevieve remains out of your stories, as she has not given consent to the release of her information. I'm willing to put myself out there for my God.
Oh, no, Miss Sarah Bell. All the names in my stories are completely fictional, and any other information that's pulled from the side. These are only matters of entertainment. I would never dare step on someone's privacy like that. Your Genevieve's privacy will remain with her, as will yours.
No, with that information, you may, as we travel, gain more insight into sadness. And myself, of course.
I would love to hear more. I've taken enough of your back rubbing time, and I will step away. You and
Though, before you
I
go,
forgot that was still going.
yes, absolutely.
she leans forward, kind of like flicking John's hand away. I see jaundice in your eyes. Is something the matter?
No, ma'am.
Oh.
Sickly. Have been since I was
Oh.
a boy. Nothing, unfortunately, for your inclinations to harvest. Unfortunately, a matter of genetics. Nothing for harvesting or nothing contagious for that matter.
No transmissibility. Well, of course, I If you need any medical services, I can provide them. I am not only interested in the collection of samples and transmissibilities.
Oh, believe me, if this is something I could get rid of, I would have done so a long time ago.
But if I can ease a pain and increase your joy,
You will be the
of
first one I
course.
call, Miss Sarabelle.
Thank you.
Anyone else? What's
That
the guy?
conversation kind of wraps up. Just drinking from his water skin, kind of sitting around the fire. Probably finished his food a little bit ago, or didn't finish it, depending on the conversation or the activities going on behind him. Miss Bell, I've got a question for you, if you have a moment. He says, laughing because we have nothing but time right now.
What's my dear professor? Go ahead, shoot, as they say.
What can you tell me about Mr. Caldwell?
Well, Mr. Caldwell. Dean, what do I know about Mr. Caldwell?
Roll a history check with your wisdom modifier.
Under the computer. 19. Hang on.
I don't know if you're proficient or not. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. My wisdom modifier plus 2. So that's a 21.
21.
Hell yeah.
So I mean, Jeb Caldwell, he was there. He's been there since you've been there. I mean, he was there before. He's been there since you arrived. He's always been kind of the owner of the general store, one of the foundational figures. And seemed to fit quite nicely. Like he's an older guy. And you've been in, I forget how long. You had only been here for how many years? 5? 5 years? Okay, that's what I thought. I'm trying to make sure because you've been there for 5 years, and then somebody else has been there for 15. Got a lot of numbers, but you've been there for 5 years. He's been there for longer than you have, and you arrived kind of right after Sinclair arrived. And kind of took up mayorship of the town. And from your understanding and kind of getting to know folks, like Jeb Caldwell has been here about since the town was founded. He's always just kind of kept keeping on. It's kind of surprising that at no point as such a foundational figure to like socially, he never seemed to take a stab at being mayor himself. He always seemed to be quite satisfied with his running his store. He did seem to fall, like I say fall, like he seemed to fall nicely into place as a smuggling front for Sinclair when he started searching for the ins and outs of shipping and things to get things in and out of town discreetly. Which for a man of his age and relatively upstanding reputation was interesting. But I mean, some people just have a talent for these things, and maybe he decided that he wanted to make he was wanting to make some more money rather than just run his store. But he's always done right by you and by the folks in town.
My experience with Mr. Caldwell has always been quite positive. He was there when I arrived in Crystal Grit. And my understanding is Mr. Caldwell is almost synonymous with Crystal Grit. He has been there for quite some time. He has always run the general store, to my knowledge. He goes out of his way to try to make sure he carries what folks need, and he will do what he can to make special orders if necessary. Of course, depending on, how difficult it is. Sometimes things are hard to get out here. He and Mr. Sinclair quickly seemed to form friendship would be a good word, but to work quite closely together, almost from the beginning, and seemed to work quite well together. But I don't
What?
know too much more than that. He doesn't seem to be super social, but he is quite admired in the community.
What's an interesting thing? Perhaps if I should find need of some supplies when we return, I can place an order. Thank you, ma'am.
Well, why do you ask, Professor Sir?
It's always good to know people who can provide you with things that you may need. And he seems like he might be just that fellow.
I'm gonna roll an insight check.
It will not be a super high difficulty to realize he's not talking about like bullets or food.
That was. I just want to roll an eye. So that's a 19.
It is definitely not a reference to bullets or food, but you're not quite sure what he would be referring to because it is you're just beginning to get a handle on the fact that he's not a professor, so maybe not pinpointing what he's getting at here.
What may I ask what type of things you might be asking for? I might be able to tell you if he typically carries those things. Some things are seasonal items, as you may know.
Like what kinds of things?
What are you looking for? There are quite a few supplies pass through that general store of a year.
I was just interested to know what seasonal items could be. This area, I thought it was arid most of the time. I generally deal in purchase, information, weapons, as you can see, for protecting my research.
I believe, well, Mr. Caldwell would be a good first person to contact. Based on the weapons you have shown, Mr. Professor, Sir, I believe you may end up find yourself dealing with Mr. Sinclair before it's all over, or at least he will be involved at some point.
Intimidating
Things of
fellow
that
in his own
nature.
right. Oh,
He
my
is
apologies.
indeed. Oh, no, you're fine, sir. Sometimes my pacing can invite things a little bit like that, a little confusion of conversation. But no, Mr. Sinclair, he can be intimidating, but he has done a lot for our town. He has done a lot in his short time there. I don't think anyone will be sad for him to continue on serving our town the way he has. Fun but fair.
He definitely
most
had
folks
an
say.
expeditious path to resolution.
It is fairly straightforward, I have found. Fairly straightforward. Yes.
Guys pauses for a moment to switch earbuds because the battery is dying.
Disconnected.
Ding.
Hello, it is me, God.
Sanus?
Speak to you through your dead earbuds.
Oh.
Hopefully not dead yet, because I still can't hear from both of them yet.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Perish. Make a dexterity saving throw.
Alright. Sorry about that.
No
I was
problem.
getting the battery low notification.
Guess who's back? Anyway.
But we have a little bit of a journey before any conversations with people back in Crystal Grit can even be considered. What is the plan when we do arrive?
This is a good
Are we
question.
kicking in doors and opening fire, or perhaps something a bit more coordinated?
It should be a little bit more coordinated. I don't think that kicking in doors or causing a ruckus will get us the information and the materials in a particularly discreet manner, which is what we've been asked to do.
I think our biggest challenge may be, keeping in mind that Mr. Sinclair did ask for this gentleman to be brought back alive. I think And she kind of looks around. Some of our party may find that type of restraint to be a bit challenging this go round.
Are
We
we
are
in a
expect-
circle right now?
I'm assuming we're all
She's
sitting
just
around the
talking
fire.
shit to your face.
Yeah.
I assumed like that we like made our camp like in a circle, right? Protective like circle. So she's just kind of like looking, you know, kind of around.
It is my understanding that our soon-to-be friend has associates of his own.
It could be the case that we could, if you pardon my intrusion into the conversation,
By all means, strategy is a conversation for us all.
Join us, sir.
it could be the case that we convince his followers maybe he should not be the one they are following. And instead, point them to our dear Mayor Sinclair and all of the great gifts that he has brought upon us. I do find words more effective than immediate gunfire a lot of times. At least it results in less holes in myself, which I do enjoy.
Both of those are true. Do we have reason to believe that they could be swayed if they were not already following Mr. Sinclair? Or not, even perhaps more importantly, that they wouldn't believe that they would be met with Mr. Sinclair's distinct brand of justice, should they throw themselves on his mercy?
No, but they don't know that.
Don't they? He seems to be a pretty well-known individual in this area, with a reputation.
I would give them
Not to throw your plan under the bus. I just think we should consider any aspects of every plan.
What?
I don't know what a bus is, sir, so no offense taken there.
It's like an extra long carriage for multiple people, public form of transport. It's popular in the city.
You just put two Johns next to each other.
It's not at all. It's not
Really
at all like
tiny
that.
train.
It is drawn by horses.
I
It's
grew up
just
in the-
several
I grew up in the
cars.
poor part of Verland, so I never got the pleasure of riding on one of these buses. But
To be quite fair, they're not really pleasurable. It's a mass transportation thing, density of the cities, you know.
Fancy man.
My experience with the loyalties of folks in these gangs, posses, whatever you would like to call them, they're not going to be turning coat unless they have a reason.
unless we have something they want, which we could find out via a conversation.
Or
Right.
we convince them that we have something that they want.
Exactly. Smattering of both, a little bit of truth, a little bit of lie, goes a decent way. I would like, because I'm not familiar with this group or as much as I would like to be, are both of you well-known associates? And he's gonna look at Callie and Miss Bell. Are both of you well-known associates of Mayor Sinclair?
I believe anyone in Crystal Grid is considered an associate of Mr. Sinclair. But Miss Callie, I think, is perhaps a little more closely associated or tied. Would you say that's correct, ma'am?
I don't think Callie. Well, she hasn't left Crystal. She hasn't left the proximity of Crystal Grit, so I don't think that anybody outside, unless Cowboy Guy, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe that outside of Crystal Grit people know of Callie, or at least Callie in this form.
The reason I'm asking specifically is because those guys came through Crystal Grid. So if they
Right.
saw you, they may know that you're.
Yeah. Well, in that case, Callie laughs and goes, Mr. Daughtry, you got a lot of girl to have her secrets, and I am going to snap my fingers, and my hair will start to turn like a sage green, and my face becomes a little bit more youthful. And I'm still wearing like this getup, but
You got another wig?
I
That would be so sick. Dude, that would be the number one rose if you just did this number on stream.
it
Absolutely.
takes so long to
She
put
went
them on.
like,
It takes so much long. I thought about it. I genuinely.
Oh man.
It takes me 5 minutes to like get it situated.
We gotta practice. We got like a pit crew. Fucking.
hey,
A quick change.
the production team color her, do like a fade.
Let me see if I can
Yeah.
find a filter real quick.
Just make
I
her
know,
real
and
green.
so I sort of tip my head to the side and go, "Y'all can just call me Artemisia, you know. I can be anybody you'd like. I could be a visitor. I could be looking for a position at one of the local houses, or just someone simply passing through."
Now that is a fascinating trick.
No trick. Just me.
Fascinating nonetheless. Very impressive.
Is this disguise
I've
self?
seen this. Are you changeling?
I'd
This is
like
the
to
first time
see
Bella's
if I
seen this.
can,
Oh,
if it's very easy to. Did you say take the headset off?
No.
Oh.
I just did this.
I'm an Eladrin.
20 years.
Hmm.
But yeah, you can make a check to see if you can figure out what Callie is.
Yeah, I'll do that too. My thing is I wanted to see like how easy is it to tell that this is Callie, like how much of a switch like was actually
Oh,
made.
yeah, that's entirely. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, go ahead and
That's why I was asking if it's disguise self or something. I need to know, is it like insight or is it investigation?
no,
perception?
this is me changing my form. Like, so as
Yeah.
as an Eladrin, I can change.
Oh.
So I guess his question is how similar does this version, like, does this season look to the season you just were?
I think that
Like, how difficult would it be to put two into, like, if you had seen both, would you be
Like-
able to? How hard would it be to piece together that they're actually the same person?
I think that they obviously know it's me because
You just did, yeah.
but the reason why Callie looks the way she does is because it doesn't look like her poster. They don't know this. So unless these people are looking real close and real hard, it's and Callie can like change her hair, like she'll like do her hair differently and why I bought the dress kind of thing. So
It's a wonderful trick there. Then I rolled a 2. I can hardly tell it's you.
I will note that Eladrin are not like anathema. You know, it's kind of like with satyrs. Like they are one of the more rare elvish like offshoots, but they are far from, you know, like maybe most people haven't seen them, but
yeah.
you know,
Yeah, 22
it
to
is
know
possible.
what an Eladrin is. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Would 15 make it?
I'd say so. From being from like a city.
I was like, if you're from the continent, like the main continent, then
Especially anybody that has lived or spent significant time in like any of the major cities of those bigger nations, like you would have come across that at some point, especially with like a 15 or higher.
You mentioned wanted posters. With that being of a particular interest of Geist, would he may have seen her or a version of her?
Which port did you come in?
Oh shit! I don't think I.
Yeah, motherfucker! Y'all thought I actually made some form of plans for this campaign. It's very liberating. I mean, you may not have specified, and if not, there are 2, so you can coin flip.
Which one was closest to Crystal Grit?
Which one was closest to Crystal Grit? I believe
because Geist is a man on a mission, so he would have been doing the shortest line between 2 points.
Yeah, hold on, let me double check. I should have highlighted the names of things in my document. New Dertine is the port city closer to the south.
And that is the one he would have been through.
Yeah, New
And he
Dertine
would
is the southerly, and Villeport is the northerly.
So he knew he was well, up to you, DM, if he knew where he was going ahead of time with Crystal Grit, or if he figured that out when he got here.
Fuck
it sounds like it's
something
time.
you figured out after you got there. It's a big place, and Crystal Grit is a pretty no name to have made its way all the way back to the main continent.
Well, then we're gonna roll for it. High, Villeport. Low, New Dertine.
And Callie, I'm quite frankly, I love getting to put things on
New
you guys
Dertine.
because it's fun. How likely do you think it would be for things to have made it to New Dertine?
Oh, 100%.
You think so?
I think
Okay.
that, like, because it's been a couple of years since the accident, and so I think that every big town, like, that could potentially have a poster. Like, I'm thinking, like, that's why Callie's like at
Kind of on the edge.
yeah. It's like
Really? Okay.
So Geist always looking at wanted boards to see if his face is there. Would he have seen your face and or recognized it in either the
Old
forms
picture.
or been able to extrapolate?
It's an older picture, so
That's what
how
I'm asking
difficult
her.
that
I don't-
is. Yeah.
She can choose
between
I
you guys.
would, if you want to roll maybe an, I guess, insight, I guess.
insight. Okay.
I think, like, to determine, because, like, the poster would be of her a couple of years
Right.
younger.
That's what I was saying. Is like it would be a little bit more difficult due to
Be an 18 for insight.
Especially in this form, because this is Callie's old form, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I say. With both of them to go by and to compare and contrast. Like,
Mhm.
what a very interesting talent.
And I will
What a
say
trick.
that offer came from a member of the consortium for a significant sum.
What were the crimes on that wanted poster, Callie?
Not a crime.
Not a
Or
crime.
what?
It's a reward.
Reward
So
for
was it-
locating a missing daughter.
Oh,
And it's a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Noted.
Signed
All right.
as being the missing daughter of a high-ranking member of the consortium.
oh!
Okay.
Do with that as you will.
Truly impressive talent. We should discuss that later. And the uses it could provide to this mission and future endeavors.
I want to roll insight on him.
This
Like,
is fucking great. I can't wait for just shit to be like guns all pointing around in a circle. Like,
All of us.
Yeah.
I was
Servo's
just
not
happy to
giving a
be in the
shit.
shootout.
Look,
This is awesome.
amazing.
okay.
Either
So-
that or she's not involved at all. She's sitting on John, just watching all the
Oh yeah,
chaos
she get
involved.
the fucking back rub of a lifetime.
Yeah, can
watching
I-
y'all shoot the
Uh,
shit
so
out
Hand
of
to
each other.
shot.
I'm gonna have I'll let Miss Bell. What was your insight?
13.
That was against Geist, right?
Yep.
So that's
You're
you're muted. Monsieur.
Would you also roll me an insight check?
Yeah, I
Um,
was gonna say I needed
yeah.
to.
What did Miss Bell? What did you say your insight check was?
13. Lucky 13. I hope.
He seems more interested in her than he has at any time since. But that could just be him being flirty and that being like a shapeshifter kind of thing.
So she wouldn't be able to tell if he had malintent.
Not with anything under a 20.
God damn. That boy rolling.
Yeah.
Rolling.
I rolled a 19, and I don't have anything to add to it.
Yours would be much easier because yours would be to see a spark of recognition when he saw your uniform.
She sighs deeply.
Back of the head.
Is this the first time that so Belle didn't know this? This was like news for her.
That's between you two.
Everybody knows me by Callie. You don't know my last name, Miss Bell. I just showed up one day, kind of disheveled, asking for a job.
Disheveled.
So at that point, Belle would take note of the professor's interest, and then her eyes would flick to Callie and just kind of like, everything okay?
We all have our secrets, Miss Bell. We all have our secrets.
Yes, we do. And we respect them. And we know that. We all also want to make sure that we don't get so busy hiding our secrets that we hide from our friends or people who can help us.
I agree with you, Miss Bell. I think we should all shed our secrets right now.
I did not say that, Mr.
I-
Daltrey. Although I do appreciate your enthusiasm for a good tale, sir. I do.
I don't
I
know.
would
I'll know
say that
if they're few
anybody-
mine.
Anybody who's been like in a bigger city, so like Mr. Dotry, if you've been traveling about, like, and you've stopped by any of the train station, like, my assumption is that they are in train stations, like, which is
How long ago did those go up?
After you were in Crystal Grid, I believe.
After I was in Crystal Grid. Okay.
Yeah.
It's been less than 5 years, right? 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Just checking. Just
Yeah.
Sarah Bell does not give a shit about wanted posters. Besides making sure, like, every once in a while, just being
What?
like, my face up there? Okay, no.
Dude.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, because it's like bounties, rewards, that kind of thing. So if people like look at them, so I'm just
Yeah.
giving that out there of like it's been 2 years. Some of these posters have been probably sitting around for a while. Hence the Kelly's always checking the board, like removing things.
I'll just roll a raw wisdom check. It wouldn't be something that I would be paying particularly close attention to,
Sure.
but Mr.
If you
Dotry
happened.
is a naturally curious guy, so
Well, and the other thing I
I
will.
recognize you.
Okay, because I was gonna say, because of the amount of money, I would even say that like you could even roll with advantage, because why is it so much money? Like
I
just
got a
as a
natural one.
What a Chad.
just don't care.
I think a 14 would do it. That's the higher of the two rolls. I think that's being put on you there, Callie.
I think
I
that
love handing narrative responsibility off. This is fantastic. All
Yeah.
DMs should delegate. That's all I'm saying.
I think with a 14, there is a passing resemblance to a wanted poster, or not a wanted, a reward poster
Yeah,
for a young
I've
lady.
seen you somewhere, but can't
Yeah.
quite
Place
place
it.
it.
You know, you actually look kind of familiar looking like that.
If we're
Speaking of-
I mean, I guess
I'm
I
so
guess
sorry.
if we're all making these rolls here, any of y'all folks from Asterholm,
From where?
was that how's it pronounced?
Asterholm. Yeah, that's
Aster-
correct.
Okay, I was like, what?
Oh, I'm
Wait,
not from
That's
there.
the more industrial country.
No.
Nope.
Oh yeah, that's the neighboring country. No,
Cool.
I'm from Veridland.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm not from there.
Yeah, they are more to the
don't worry about
north.
it then.
How notorious were you? Would have got to Veridland? Natural 20 says it. It's a 16, not quite.
Ooh.
were you a wanted man?
None of
Oh,
your
how
business.
old?
to say?
How old is Geist?
I think I actually put that in there. Shit.
Oh shit, are you like a hella old tabaxi? You grandpa? Should we be referring to you as grandpa? Mr. Grandpa?
No,
He's
he's like
got the silver muzzle.
Oh.
Yeah, he's like 26. Guys,
26. I very much doubt.
Yeah.
Very much doubt it. Because Mr. King has been here for 15 years. So
So Belle's from Berlin, but she wandered around the continent for a while before she came. So can I roll to see if I know?
you've only been here for 5 years. He's been here since before you started wandering.
Okay, so I wouldn't have
believe.
heard anything or know anything. Okay.
You were out in the wilderness, so no.
Mr. King's 44 years old. Just
That's an old fucking cat.
How old is that in
That
cat
is an old
years?
Hey, that
Yeah, he's
that world's
actually like
oldest
3.
dog was 31.
That's
so,
true.
you know.
R.I.P.
Sarah Bell, in the discussion of secrets, will look at the party, say, "This does not refer to you, Miss Bell. I understand that somebody in your line of work respects secrets, but for the rest of the party, and I've already obviously spoken to you, Mr. Dotree, for everyone else, you spill my secrets, I will kill you. I respect my secrets as I respect yours."
I don't think there's any need to go around making threats on your secrets, Miss Sarah Bell. We're all friends here, and all friendly
Well,
towards each other.
It
I
can
would
be.
prefer not to end up in a cell. As I've told you before, cells are unjoyous place. And for somebody so pretty as me, I would not make it.
Prison would spoil such beauty. So let's all just stay out of prison, shall we?
Indeed.
Yeah, yeah.
Ideally, yes.
Shall we have one last drink and have a toast before we go to bed?
The
To our success.
She is.
Kelly takes her rifle and is like, I'm gonna watch the camp for a while. Y'all go to bed if you feel like it.
Oh,
Keep-
John can help you with that.
How does John keep watch with people?
By alerting me when one of y'all whack him.
That is fantastic. To have assistance.
Indeed.
It is indeed. Since
We do.
John is a little lacking in the conversational department, I will offer to do my share of the keep a watch along with Miss Callie at this time, unless anyone else particularly wanted to go first.
Shall we set a cycle of watches throughout the night?
While y'all are
Seems
having that
plausible.
conversation, Alistair and Agatha have already walked away from the campfire
That's
and
fine.
Going
into
to
the
bed.
covered wagon. Correct.
Callie can take 2 shifts because I only need 4 hours to trance. So
I can take the second shift. Just call me awake.
I'll take a
Yeah.
third. And if any trouble does come, John makes wonderful cover. He does not mind, I assure you.
I bet.
Okay.
I was gonna say who's taking first shift with me?
I wouldn't worry about it too much. Can I get a round of perception checks from everybody?
God bless America.
Nabbit. Remember, we can't be
this ain't
surprised.
US. This is weirdly enough the UK, but not
Remember,
our UK.
we can't be surprised. We can't be
Oh, I know.
surprised.
That's fine. Don't worry.
14.
Which is
14.
good because
19.
15.
18
18,
17.
with
17.
second use
Um,
of the feature.
9. Thank God. Thank God for
Okay.
the whip.
All right. So what was my highest? The 18
I got a 19.
or a 19? My highest was the 19. Is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
As our travelers, our dusty trail enjoyers, bed themselves down for the night, taking their rounds of watches and the like, and keeping a lookout. I don't know whether Mr. Dotry even participates since he dipped out and he'd go to bed or not. Pan out. Not a one notices, and relative distance from the camp, slight. And late in the night.
I'm so sorry
before.
to interrupt your monologue there, DM.
Yeah.
My Skype dropped out while you were describing it, which means the stream didn't hear it. So if you could start with not seen to anybody. So sorry.
Not seen to anybody in the party. As the night wears on, creeping into daybreak, 50 feet or so from the camp, slight rumble in the earth, slight crest before disappearing back into the earth. Not disturbing them in the camp. Signs of the earth elementals that reside here within Ukripshadal are seen, if not felt or heard, by us, the omniscient, not omnipotent viewers. And that's where we'll go ahead and end tonight's session as the day breaks and you all prepare to continue your journey.
Let's go!
So,
I love being a cowboy!
yeehaw!
Yeehaw!
Pork and
I love
beans and
traveling
whiskey!
with cowboys.
Yippity skidoo.
Give me your best yee.
Yeah.
Is
Meow.
is Mr. King the only one who's actually on cattle?
Yes.
Okay. fair
I do
enough.
believe.
He's the only actual cowboy here.
Hey. It's a cowboy's state of mind, all right?
Yes.
Anyway. So, thank you guys all for joining us here tonight. This is our Whispers in the Dust game. We're running this for the moment every Wednesday, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. If you need to translate it, I'm not gonna. Figure it out yourself what time that means for you. Additionally, on Saturdays, we have our Across Eberron campaign, which is DM'd by my boy. Where's his camera? He's actually right next to me. My boy John Z, a.k.a. regular fantasy god, not cowboy god. That's me. But it has some of those of us that are sitting here. I think actually almost the majority. The majority of the people here on your screen now participate in that, which is a lovely and fun time. We're much higher level, and it is way worse on the whole. Bad shit abound. Not good. But, if you want to know the specifics, you got to drop by on Saturdays at 5 p.m. Eastern. And on our Sunday, because it is spooky month, we are having a Monster of the Week game DM'd by our very own Kylie, who is to my diagonal down below me. She got bright red hair, hard to miss. And she's been running that. That's Monster of the Week. I've never played that system. It looks like it's going to be a ton of fun. I believe there are a couple of us that are going to be participating. And that'll be a good time. Spooky things. Monsters. So on Sunday, and that is going to be at a time, I forget, 4 p.m. Eastern, I believe. 4. So come do that. Once again, the thing for the charity, open heart wallets for the kids, and be cool. We are going to be rating Legends of Evantris. They do TTRPG things as well, so give them your love and affection so that we can keep doing nerd shit all across the board. Y'all take it easy. For a few more seconds, we are going to sit there. Eat your pork and beans. I forgot my bean cup. God damn it.
I was wondering where it was at.
Fuck! It'll return next week. Don't you worry. Meantime, y'all have a good one. Bye.
Y'all come back now. You hear?
Yeah, y'all. Howdy. Yeehaw way.